Chapter 229. Academy City School District 7, Tokuwadai Dormitory. Early in the morning, the sun slowly shines down from the sky, passing through layers of clouds and shrouding the ground that was just covered by the night, bringing a touch of warmth to the cold ground. In the dormitory of Tokuwadai, all the young ladies got up from their beds one after another and started their day after day, year after year of middle school life. Even though it was a holiday today, they still couldn't hide in their warm beds. Who knows if it was a special rule of Tokuwadai or if it was a habit of theirs. Usually, at this time, the Missy from Tokuwadai would have finished washing up and headed to the commercial street in the center of the school district. But today, there was no sign of the young ladies who were preparing to go out on the streets at the entrance of the Tokuwadai dormitory. They were all hiding in the corners of the dormitory and looking at the entrance as though they had seen something unbelievable. None of them wanted to go forward. Because there's a figure standing there that normally wouldn't appear at this time. Her long blonde hair was casually draped behind her head, and she carried a small white bag on her back. The sunlight shone on her hair, which was the same color as her hair, emitting a golden glow. She wore a pair of white gloves on her hands and a pair of white stockings on her feet. Her star-shaped eyes stared in one direction, as if she was waiting for something. She was wearing the uniform of Tokuwadai, which was the same as the other young ladies. However, when she wore it, she had a different kind of charm. This was because the owner of the uniform had a great heart that the other girls in Tokuwadai did not have. It's Shokuhu Misaki herself. Shokuhu Misaki is standing in front of Tokuwadai's dormitory door early in the morning, waiting. The Missy from Tokuwadai didn't choose to go out because they saw their queen at the door. Girls are all gossipy creatures. This sentence can't be applied to all girls, but it's applicable to most of them. Obviously, the Missy from Tokuwadai are one of those gossipy creatures. When they saw Shokuhu Misaki standing in front of Tokuwadai's dormitory door, they're boiling because their queen is obviously waiting for someone. Could it be her boyfriend? Her Majesty the Queen is going on a date with her boyfriend? Once this idea popped up, it instantly went out of control and spread like wildfire. Within a short 5 minutes, it had spread throughout the entire Tokuwadai dormitory and attracted everyone. Ever since Mikoto became the second, her influence in Tokuwadai became even greater. At this time, Shokuhu Misaki's influence didn't decrease in the slightest. Many Tokuwadai's young ladies also deeply admired Shokuhu Misaki from the bottom of their hearts. So, now that Shokuhu Misaki has a boyfriend, the commotion in Tokuwadai will definitely not be any less than the last time she went out on a date. At this time, they didn't know that the person Shokuhu Misaki was waiting for was the same person she went on a date with last time. At a certain moment, Shokuhu Misaki's eyes suddenly lit up as she looked in a certain direction. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, making those Tokuwadai girls who were looking forward to her almost screamed. At the same time, they also noticed that in the direction Shokuhu Misaki was looking at, there was a figure walking towards them. A figure that caused them so much pain that they wanted to chop him into pieces. It's that scum. One of the misses from Tokuwadai couldn't help but exclaim. Following her exclamation, the other misses from Tokuwadai were all stunned as they stared at Wu Yen, who is approaching Shokuhu Misaki. What's going on? How can it be that scum? At this moment, all the Tokuwadai girls, without exception, were crazily roaring this sentence in their hearts. Ever since the last midsummer festival, Wu Yen publicly announced that their Misaka-sama is a member of his Crystal Palace. The title, Scum, has spread throughout the Tokuwadai along with Shiroi Kuriko's secret plot. None of them didn't want to chop Wu Yen into pieces because Mikoto is the trump card of their Tokuwadai, the third of the 7 LV5 Tokuwadai girls in Academy City. Every Tokuwadai girl has a deep yearning for Mikoto, just like how they yearn for Shokuhu Misaki. But on that day, their hearts were broken. Their Misaka-sama was taken in by a powerless hooligan. Moreover, he was taken into Crystal Palace. From that day onwards, every single girl in Tokuwadai started hating Wu Yen. And after Mikoto defeated Kikin Taidaku and became the second Tokuwadai girl in Academy City, the hatred in their hearts couldn't be suppressed. Now, even another object of their yearning has fallen into his arms. At this moment, the anger in their hearts suddenly rose. It's not like they didn't know about Shokuhu Misaki's date with Wu Yen. However, Wu Yan's declaration at the Crystal Palace during the Midsummer Festival made the Onii-san of Tokuwadai believe that their Ko-sama would never share a man with another woman. Thus, they didn't think of Wu Yan as a possible suspect. So, when Wu Yan appeared, the Tokuwadai girls, other than disbelief, their monstrous resentment also solidified and broke through the clouds. Wu Yan, who was about to greet Shokuhu Misaki, suddenly shuddered. A chill crept up his spine, causing Wu Yan's body to tremble again and again. Ever since he became a true ancestor, under the influence of the noble true ancestor bloodline, even IWSI couldn't give Wu Yan this kind of warning. But now, Wu Yan actually shuddered. For a moment, Wu Yan thought he was being watched by the god of this world, that is, Jehovah. Little did he know, the ones who are watching him are just a bunch of young ladies who don't even have the strength to truss up a chicken. Almost as soon as Wu Yan appeared, Shokuhu Misaki's gaze fell on Wu Yan's pair of wine-red eyes that suddenly changed a few days ago. Then, she covered her mouth and laughed from the bottom of her heart. For some reason, Shokuhu Misaki is very happy that Wu Yan has the same pair of eyes as her. She doesn't know why she's feeling this way, but she's not sure why. It's not polite to make a lady wait. Shokuhu Misaki sweetly smiled at Wu Yan and said. Hearing this, Wu Yan suspiciously took out his phone. Looking at the 6:40 on the display, he asked Shokuhu Misaki, "Isn't it not time yet? You didn't say 7 last time but 6 last time?" Shokuhu Misaki didn't deny it and smiled. "Well, time is not an excuse for making a lady wait. Can't you come a little earlier?" Wu Yan's mouth twitched, looking at Shokuhu Misaki's sweet smile. All the energy in his body dissipated. He had arrived 20 minutes earlier than her. Since it's impossible to reason with a woman, Wu Yan raised both his hands like a hoodlum. "Fine, it's my fault, okay?" Shokuhu Misaki nodded in satisfaction, took 2 steps forward and hugged Wu Yan's hands. "Date, I'm looking forward to it." Feeling Jusama rubbing her ample bosoms against his arm, Wu Yan secretly cheered in his heart. However, he maintained a helpless smile on his face. "I really don't know why you're so eager to go on a date with me. Well, don't mind the details." With that, the two of them walked off into the distance. In the Tokuwadai dormitory, the Onii-san who were hiding in the shadows watched as Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki got further and further away. Dark aura enveloped them as they grinned eerily. Then, they formed a group and chased after the two who got further and further away. Among them, there was a Tokuwadai girl with short brown hair, and a petite figure with 2 pink ponytails. Chapter 230. On a certain commercial street in the 7th district of Academy City, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki are sticking close to each other like a real couple. While walking down the street, they are pointing at the shops and chatting happily. Be it the bachelors or the ones with girlfriends, all of them cast envious and jealous gazes at Wu Yan. The bachelors are envious because he has a girlfriend, the non-bachelors are envious because he has a beautiful girlfriend. As for the girls, they are looking at the two of them with envy. Along with the envious and jealous gazes, they are sending Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki off into the distance. However, the expressions on their faces, regardless of whether they were envious or jealous, soon all turned into frozen faces of sweat. Just as Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki's figures disappeared from their sight, a group of beautiful girls from Tokuwadai rushed up from another direction. Logically speaking, with so many beautiful girls appearing in a group, it should attract a lot of admiring gazes. But at this moment, looking at those beautiful faces, they can't even squeeze out an appreciative gaze. It should be said that as long as a person saw a group of beautiful girls covered in black gas, holding whips, brooms, stools, kitchen knives, and even scissors in their hands, and pouncing on them like wolves and tigers in front of them, they would not be able to appreciate them at all. And at the front of this group of beasts, which is also the leader, is Mikoto and Kuriko. Hiding at a distance where Wu Yan can't sense her electromagnetic field, Mikoto gritted her teeth as she looked at the two figures sticking close to each other. Blue and white electricity crackled on her forehead. Damn Yen. He actually went on a date with that girl and came to the Tokuwadai dorm without informing me. Is blonde hair and huge breasts really that attractive to you? Seeing Mikoto's nagging, Kuriko quickly added insult to injury. Wani-sama, look, that scum really doesn't care about Wani-sama. He already has Wani-sama but he still doesn't know how to be satisfied. he still goes and flirts with other girls. Wani-sama should just use your iron sand sword and give him a chop. Hearing this, the girls of Tokuwadai quickly added insult to injury. That's right, Misaka-sama. That scum is not worthy of you being together with him. It's better to abandon him and follow me. Without a doubt, this was a Yuri girl who looked like a black and white creature. Misaka-sama, let's just chop him up. A Tokuwadai girl who was holding a kitchen knife said. She seemed to be quite knowledgeable. No. We should throw him out on the street and parade him around. The girls of Tokuwadai who have already occupied the street said. No, no. For scum like him, I think we should use a pair of scissors and chop him up. This is a Tokuwadai girl who is holding a pair of scissors. By the way, she's the girl who led Wu Yen to Shokuhu Misaki and told her that Mikoto has a boyfriend. She's the one who indirectly caused the relationship between Wani-sama and Wu Yen. No. We should. Enough. Stop arguing. Mikoto, who was already a little annoyed, is now scared witless by this group of dangerous girls. She quickly stopped them from talking and saved a certain scum who is enjoying a date, Wani-sama. Kuriko shouted at Mikoto in exasperation. Looking at how Mikoto is protecting Wu Yen, Kuriko gritted her teeth. Wani-sama, at this time, you should decisively abandon that scum, Wani-sama. Mikoto bitterly smiled. If she wanted to cut off all ties with Wu Yen, she would have already made up her mind back in the Spalier world. How could she let Wu Yen take advantage of her, Misaka-sama? Shokuhu-sama and that scum are leaving again. One of the Tokuwadai girls who was assigned as a scout saw Wu Yen and Shokuhu Misaki heading towards a certain direction and quickly informed Mikoto. Mikoto turned her head to look. That direction, it looks like an amusement park. Yes, Misaka-sama. That amusement park is a place where the girls in school who have boyfriends often go for dates. It should be Shokuhu-sama's idea, that woman. Mikoto clenched her fist tightly. You keep biting on someone else's boyfriend. If I don't teach you a lesson today, you'll think that I, Misaka Mikoto, only know how to flirt. Her brown eyes turned and an idea popped up in her mind. She called out to the Tokuwadai girls behind her and started whispering something to them. Then, she asked them to pass on the message. On the other side, Wu Yen and Shokuhu Misaki have already entered the amusement park where the girls of Tokuwadai often go for dates. It's the first time he's been to a place like an amusement park. Even Wu Yen felt a sense of novelty, let alone Shokuhu Misaki who has never been to these things. Looking at the roller coaster not far away, Shokuhu Misaki's eyes sparkled. She tugged at Wu Yan's sleeve and said with a hint of anticipation. Hey, little Yen, let's go play that. Hearing Shokuhu Misaki's words, Wu Yen teased her. What's wrong? Our Queen-sama also likes this kind of childish stuff. For the first time, Shokuhu Misaki blushed and pretended to be elegant as she said, Of course I'm not interested. It's just that I'm a little curious as to why the people up there are shouting so loudly. Oh? Is that so? Wu Yen looked at Shokuhu Misaki with a half-smile and held her hand. Then, I hope that a polite Queen-sama will maintain her manners later, of course. Of course, this of course was quickly broken by Queen-sama. As soon as they got on the roller coaster, Queen-sama's calm face started to show signs of nervousness. She's an exercise idiot to begin with. Looking at the twists and turns of the road, which is as high as a cliff and as low as the sea level, she started to regret it. Hey, little Yen, why don't we go play something else? Jo-sama couldn't help but turn her head around when the car was about to depart. She chuckled guiltily at Wu Yen. Era. Wu Yen covered his mouth with the back of his hand and smiled very elegantly. Shokuhu Misaki's face turned red as she said angrily. Don't copy me. As Shokuhu Misaki's angry voice sounded, the roller coaster started to move upwards. Queen-sama was shocked and tried to stand up but Wu Yen held her back. Wu Yen chuckled. Queen-sama, the best part is yet to come, you. Ah. This was the voice of Her Highness Queen, who was shouting that screaming equals rude just now, screaming on the roller coaster. When the roller coaster finished, Wu Yan, who was holding Queen Sama, was now being held by Queen Sama like a pillar. Her limbs were strangely removed from the safety belt and railings and were wrapped around Wu Yan's body. Jusama's petite face turned a little pale. Her starry eyes were brimming with tears, giving her a pitiful look. Upon seeing this, not only did Wu Yan not console her, he even snickered, causing Jusama to glare at him. "Hurry up and get off." Queen Sama just wanted to leave this roller coaster that made her lose face. However, it seems like someone doesn't want her to leave. Mikoto, Kuriko, and a group of girls from Tokuwadai were standing on a fake mountain in the amusement park. They were looking at Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki on the roller coaster with a strange smile on their faces. "You want to leave? It's not time yet." Mikoto raised her electric hand and pressed it on the ground. Suddenly, blue and white electricity spread out like a spider web and touched the roller coaster's controller. At the same time, the roller coaster that had stopped trembled. Shokuhu Misaki and Wu Yan, who were about to get off the roller coaster, fell back onto their seats. "What's going on? What's wrong with the roller coaster?" Shokuhu Misaki suddenly felt an alarm in her heart, telling her that something bad is about to happen. But before she could react, the roller coaster accelerated and went back to where it came from at 3 times its original speed. Ah! Chapter 231. In the amusement park, all the people who saw the roller coaster flying backward at a very fast speed were in a mess. The kind-hearted people began to look for the managers, but they didn't know why those managers all disappeared. So the kind-hearted people could only watch the fun. Thus, the bottom of the roller coaster is filled with people while the top of the roller coaster is filled with Jusama's screams, echoing throughout the entire amusement park. What's going on? On the roller coaster, Wu Yan's neck was tightly strangled by Jusama. Her screams almost broke his eardrums, making his head dizzy. Coupled with the suffocating feeling caused by the lack of oxygen, even though he's already a true ancestor, Wu Yan still felt like he's about to die. Only a part of his mind is left blank, wondering why the roller coaster suddenly malfunctioned. Unfortunately, his brain cells were all scared to death by the deafening screams around him. In the distance, Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki on the roller coaster. Her face is pale with fright. She smiled evilly, seemingly satisfied with what she's done. Kuriko, who was standing beside Mikoto, glanced at the unscathed Yuanshao on the flying car with resentment. She glanced at Wu Yan and blamed her own sister for being biased. Why didn't she teach that scum a lesson? Gritting his teeth indignantly, Heizi rolled his eyes as if he had thought of something. He snickered a few times, then stealthily took 2 steps back and started whispering to the girls of Tokuwadai behind him. As Heizi's words fell into the ears of the ladies of Tokuwadai, their eyes lit up as they excitedly nodded their heads and smiled tacitly. Almost in the next second, Wu Yan, who was sitting on the roller coaster, suddenly felt his body lighten. Jusama's hand that was strangling his neck loosened. At the same time, a gust of wind blew his body out of the roller coaster. Wu Yan didn't even get the chance to curse before he started free-falling towards the ground at a height of about 10 meters. Jusama, who was still screaming, didn't realize that her biggest support at this moment is falling face first. She also didn't realize that her hands that were strangling Wu Yan's neck have turned into a pillar. As for the people who saw Wu Yan fall, they all screamed and scattered like birds and beasts. It's obvious that they don't plan to save Wu Yan. Mikoto, who is on top of the fake mountain, also exclaimed in surprise. Then she thought of something and glared at Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai misses. As for the creators, they already put on a surprised expression and managed to get away with it. Looking at the ground that's getting closer and closer to him, Wu Yan let out a long sigh. He cursed his bad luck in his heart. How would he know that the reason why he's in this state is because of someone's dirty tricks? Wu Yan's eyes narrowed and he turned his body. His body immediately did a 180-degree turn and he slightly bent his body. The moment he landed, he stomped on the air. One hand and both feet landed on the ground together. His body slightly squatted down to dissipate the force. Wu Yan dragged 2 lines of several meters on the ground. Then, he stood up as if nothing happened. How is this possible? Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai girls all screamed. When Mikoto looked at them in confusion, they quickly pretended that nothing happened. But in their hearts, they were cursing. He's still not dead, come to think of it, they really thought that Wu Yan is a powerless LV0. They came here with the intention of killing Wu Yan. When the roller coaster stopped again, Jusama still hasn't reacted. She's still sitting on her seat, hugging a small pillar that came from who knows where. She's screaming with her eyes closed. Wu Yan's face turned ugly. I say Jusama, ah. Jusama, ah. Girl, ah. Seeing this scene, Mikoto's face turned red, and she couldn't help but laugh out loud. The girls of Tokuwadai have never seen their Shokuhusama like this before, so naturally, they all tried their best to hold back their laughter. Where's the administrator? Where are all the caretakers? Shokuhu Misaki stomped her feet in anger. Her pale face has recovered a lot of color, but you can still see the anger and embarrassment in her eyes. Shokuhu Misaki felt that the reputation she's built up her entire life is gone. She wanted to cry but no tears came out. Wu Yan also tried his best to hold back his laughter and patted Jusama's shoulder. Well, Jusama, as a Tokuwadai girl, you can't be so rude. Shokuhu Misaki's face turned red. She glared at Wu Yan in embarrassment but she didn't ask for an administrator anymore. She humphed coldly and walked away. Let's go. Let's go to the next roller coaster. You still dare to play? Wu Yan was shocked. He quickly chased after her. On the fake mountain, Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki and Wu Yan walking away. She was a bit surprised. That woman, she's still not going to give up. So, she came here with the intention of ruining his date. Wani-sama, are we still going to follow them? That's what she said, but if you look closely, you'll notice that Kuriko's pink pupils are filled with an eagerness to give it a try. It's as if she won't rest until Wu Yan is dead, of course. Mikoto said angrily. She raised her leg and followed after them. Seeing this, the ladies of Tokuwadai also rushed after them. In front of them, Wu Yan frowned and kept looking back. He scratched his face from time to time as if he's confused. Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but ask. What's wrong? No, it's nothing. Wu Yan rubbed his chin and said thoughtfully, it's just that I feel like something's not right. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki smiled. You're not afraid of being caught by your little girlfriends, are you? Wu Yan glanced at Shokuhu Misaki and said lightly, what do you think? Mistress. Mistress? Shokuhu Misaki stopped and looked at Wu Yan with her starry eyes. If I'm not mistaken, the position of a mistress has been occupied for a long time, right? Wu Yan choked and didn't know what to say. Shokuhu Misaki turned her head away in dissatisfaction. Her blonde hair almost hit Wu Yan's face. You're still thinking about other girls when you're on a date, you're so lame. Wu Yan felt helpless. If he's not mistaken, the one who brought up other girls first was Shokuhu Misaki. Of course, a girl's emotions are fickle and Shokuhu Misaki is a perfect example of this. She was just complaining about Wu Yan and in the blink of an eye, she's hugging Wu Yan's arm again. Damn it, she's still so close. Mikoto gritted her teeth as she looked at Shokuhu Misaki's arm hugging Wu Yan's arm. From her angle, she can clearly see Shokuhu Misaki's ample bosom clamping onto Wu Yan's arm. This made her feel both dissatisfied and envious. To put it simply, she's envious and jealous. Looking at Wu Yan's smiling face, Mikoto's dissatisfaction grew. Unable to take it anymore, Mikoto stomped on the ground and a small electric current flowed from the ground towards Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki. Ah! Shokuhu Misaki, who was hugging Wu Yan's arms, suddenly screamed and let go of her hand as if she was bitten by a bug. Wu Yan was stunned and quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Shokuhu Misaki touched the back of her hand. Her starry eyes were filled with confusion. I don't know, my hand suddenly went numb. Your hand went numb? Wu Yan looked at Shokuhu Misaki's hand with a strange expression. He didn't know why, but when he heard the word numb, he felt enlightened, but he couldn't figure out what it was. It felt weird to the extreme. Shokuhu Misaki frowned and looked at the back of her hand. Suddenly, she saw a figure in her line of sight. Chapter 232. When Shokuhu Misaki saw the silhouette from the corner of her eyes, her face froze for a second before she understood what happened. As for the silhouette that Shokuhu Misaki saw, it seemed to have realized that it might have been exposed. Panicking, it retracted its legs and hid in a corner, worried that it would be discovered just like that. Shokuhu Misaki squinted her eyes. With her mind control ability, it only took her a moment to figure out what happened. Her heart was filled with rage. Recalling how embarrassing she was on the roller coaster, Shokuhu Misaki was even more furious. She's always been the one messing with others, since when was she the one being messed with? The more she thought about it, the angrier Shokuhu Misaki got. Even her pretty face was tainted with black lines. It's obvious that she's feeling right now. Jisama, are you alright? Wu Yan's mouth twitched as he looked at Shokuhu Misaki, who's in a strange state. His heartbeat quickened as he tried to recall if he's done anything to offend this lady. Hearing Wu Yan's words, Shokuhu Misaki's still angry face turned towards Wu Yan. Seeing the fear on Wu Yan's face, she glanced at the corner where the silhouette disappeared. Suddenly, a small scheme appeared in her mind. Jisama instantly retracted her anger. She smiled sweetly at Wu Yan like a blooming flower. I'm fine, Yan. Looking at Jisama's sweet smile, Wu Yan was stunned. He looked like a CPU overheated. He really can't understand how this woman's face can change so quickly. Shokuhu Misaki had a smile on her face like a young girl. She skipped over to Wu Yan's side and hugged his arm. She then buried her face in his shoulder. Yan. Let's continue playing. After that, she pulled Wu Yan towards a certain direction. As she walked, she turned around to look at the corner of the building. Then, she flashed a meaningful grin. Mikoto didn't see that smile on Shokuhu Misaki's face. If she did, she'd be shocked. Because every time Shokuhu Misaki wants to toy with her, she'll always have that smile on her face. Usually, when Shokuhu Misaki has that smile on her face, it's when Mikoto is at a disadvantage. Wu Yan was caught off guard by Jisama's sudden enthusiasm. When he realized that Jisama was leading him to a secluded corner, Wu Yan was puzzled. Jisama, aren't we going to play? Why do I feel like we're getting further and further away? Is there a facility that I don't know about? Shokuhu Misaki's face. Well, Yan, don't worry. You'll know soon enough. Wu Yan didn't feel relieved. Instead, he felt even more puzzled. Scratching his face, Wu Yan sighed. A woman's mind is hard to read, let alone Jisama, who specializes in manipulating others' minds. It's probably best if I don't go looking for trouble and just follow her. What's that woman planning to do? Wu Yan wasn't the only one who was puzzled. Mikoto and the other Tokuwadai ladies were also puzzled when they saw Shokuhu Misaki leading Wu Yan to a secluded corner. Of course, with their IQ, they wouldn't be able to figure out Jisama's plan. They could only bury their doubts in their hearts and once again become stalkers. At this time, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki have already hidden in a secluded corner and are staring at each other. Jisama, what are you planning to do this time? Wu Yan leaned against the wall helplessly and sighed at Shokuhu Misaki. His intuition tells him that Jisama is planning to do something unexpected. Wu Yan's intuition was right. Shokuhu Misaki glanced behind and saw the familiar figure following her and Wu Yan. She smiled and looked at Wu Yan. Hey, Yan. Under Wu Yan's shocked expression, Jisama put her finger in her mouth and bit it. Following this action, Jisama suddenly wrapped her arms around Wu Yan's neck and squeezed her large breasts into Wu Yan's embrace. Wu Yan was stunned. Feeling the soft touch on his chest, his mind went blank. He really doesn't understand what Jisama is doing. Did Jisama suddenly fall in love with him? The girls in the other corner were also stunned. Then, they all burst into an uproar. If it wasn't for the distance, they would have been exposed. They all bit their lips. Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki while the others looked at Wu Yan. Their eyes flashed with murderous intent. Now they understand why Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki are hiding in a secluded corner. They're obviously hiding and making out. Thinking of this, they all bit their lips and resisted the urge to run out and stop them. They want to wait and see what happens. Jusama. Wu Yan gulped as he looked at Shokuhu Misaki's seductive eyes. He had a hard time finding the words to say. You. What are you playing at this time? What did I do to offend you? Just say the word and I'll cut my own throat to atone for my sins. Wu Yan wanted to cry but no tears came out. For a moment, he thought Jusama was playing with him. Era, don't tell me you don't like this? Shokuhu Misaki smiled sweetly and moved her face closer to Wu Yan's. She breathed out a hot breath on Wu Yan's face. It's extremely seductive. Being hit by Jusama's fragrance on his face, Wu Yan's body stiffened. Looking at Jusama's lips that were inches away from his face, the lust in him started to rise. Although he doesn't know what Jusama is planning, but being seduced like this, and in a secluded place? In a place like this, if he really endured it, then he would be Lu Xiaohui. Is Wu Yan Lu Xiaohui? The answer came out very quickly. Wu Yan took a deep breath and hugged Jusama's naked body tightly. While feeling Jusama's soft body, he moved his face forward. In the next second, two soft lips were sucked into Wu Yan's mouth. Ugh! Shokuhu Misaki's starry eyes widened. The seductive look in her eyes disappeared and was replaced by a thick sense of disbelief. First kiss. Originally, Shokuhu Misaki only wanted to pretend to be intimate with Wu Yan to get back at Mikoto. She wanted to let her know what it means to go for wool and come home shorn. Who knew that the one who went for wool and came home shorn was her? The smart Jusama obviously forgot that Wu Yan isn't a toy that can be manipulated by her. He can also be seduced. Jusama's mind went blank after losing her first kiss. Even though Wu Yan's lips were so close to hers that she couldn't react to it, she didn't know how to react to it. Wu Yan, of course, was happy that Shokuhu Misaki didn't react. This way, he can do whatever he wants, right? Shokuhu Misaki's mouth opened wide, and Shokuhu Misaki's cherry lips opened. At the same time, Shokuhu Misaki felt her mouth expand, and a large tongue quickly swam into her mouth, captured her little tongue, and entangled them together. Shokuhu Misaki's eyes widened a bit, her blank mind finally came back to her senses, but soon after, the sensation of their tongues intertwining caused Shokuhu Misaki's widened eyes to soften. A faint mist started to crawl into her eyes, making her eyes look like water. Soon, Shokuhu Misaki was immersed in the wonderful sensation of the kiss. She closed her eyes and responded to Wu Yan's kiss. The two of them started off with a light kiss, but it quickly escalated into a passionate kiss. Chapter 233. In the corner, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki are getting more and more engrossed in their kiss. Shokuhu Misaki is starting to forget her original intention and is engrossed in her first kiss. She even forgot that this place is not completely undiscovered. Kuriko. Let me go. I'm going to kill that damn woman. Mikoto is struggling with all her might. Her face is filled with dark energy and lightning is crackling on her forehead. She looks like she's suffering a great deal. If it weren't for Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai Oni-san hugging her with all their might, no one would doubt that Mikoto would have ended Shokuhu Misaki's life. It's because they know that Mikoto's mind is clouded by anger that Kuriko and the others are shocked. They all hugged Mikoto tightly to prevent their Jusama from being electrocuted to death. Wani-sama. Calm down first. You can't go out now. Kuriko is hugging Mikoto tightly and trying to calm her down. She's also drooling as she rubbed Mikoto's chest that's getting bigger and bigger by the day Wu Yan is developing. Wani-sama, even if you go out now, you'll only give Shokuhu Misaki the opportunity to scold you. It's already happened. Wani-sama, even if you go out now, you won't be able to change the fact that they've already had intimate contact. Kuriko is trying to persuade Mikoto to come back. Of course, Kuriko is also secretly happy. Her real goal is to let her Wani-sama see that scum having an affair. If this continues, her Wani-sama will gradually lose hope in that unfaithful scum. Then, her impression of him will slowly fade away and her feelings for him will be erased. In the end, she'll take the initiative to leave that scum's clutches. And when her Wani-sama is sad, she'll take advantage of that and give her a warm hug and shoulder. Slowly, she'll move her heart, and when that time comes, Kuriko, who thought this as a matter of course, obviously forgot that using the excuse of being a playboy to break up Wu Yan and Mikoto's relationship is no longer going to work. That's because they are already part of each other's crystal palace. Even if she were to take a step back, with her personality, there's no way she'd jump into the dangerous profession of being a lesbian just because she's comforted. As for the other Tokuwadai ladies who tried to stop Mikoto, some of them are of the same race as this black and white creature, so they had the same goal as her and righteously tried to persuade Mikoto. Some of them are just afraid that their Jusama would be taken advantage of by their Misaka-sama. Mikoto resisted the urge to go all out and look at the two kissing passionately. The anger in her heart couldn't be quelled no matter how hard she tried. It's not like she's never seen Wu Yan kissing other girls before. For example, Chuju, Ikaros, she's seen them all. Sometimes, Wu Yan would even force her to sleep in the same bed. Logically speaking, Mikoto, who's already used to this, even if she saw Wu Yan being intimate with other girls, she'd at most be a little jealous and angry. She wouldn't be this angry. But when this girl is Shokuhu Misaki, it's a different story. Shokuhu Misaki is the woman she hates the most. There's no one like her. Mikoto has suffered a lot under Shokuhu Misaki's hands. In the past, Shokuhu Misaki used psychological control to control innocent people to go against her in order to protect her so-called Tokuwadai queen's territory. Although Mikoto resolved it in the end, Jusama is now thoroughly hated by cis canon. The person you like the most kissing the person you hate the most, what kind of feeling is that? Mikoto doesn't know, but she's about to explode from anger. But after listening to Kuriko's advice, Mikoto felt that it made sense. Even if she went out now, it wouldn't change the fact that Shokuhu Misaki and Yen were already intimate. Plus, with Shokuhu Misaki's personality, there's a 90% chance that she'd turn around and mock her. When that happens, she'd have nowhere to vent her anger. Mikoto could only turn her head away. Out of sight, out of mind. But her eyes kept glancing at Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki's direction. Her face gradually turned red. Even though Mikoto is no longer a teenage girl and is now a married woman, she still couldn't help but blush when she saw this scene. What an extraordinary pureness. After persuading Mikoto, Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai ladies let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness no one died, but when they saw Jusama being taken advantage of, their faces darkened. Don't forget, most of them are here to protect Jusama from being tainted by Wu Yan. Of course, no matter what they think, the two who are immersed in the kiss won't notice anything. Feeling Jusama's soft body, her great bosom, and her soft lips and tongue, Wu Yan's heart started to heat up. One has to say, blonde hair, big tits, queen, this kind of surname is very attractive. Even Wu Yan wasn't surprised. At this moment, Jusama's interest in Wu Yan is on par with Astria, who has blonde hair and big tits. In fact, Jusama's interest in Wu Yan is close to that of Ikaros, who has huge tits. Wu Yan started to get dissatisfied with the current situation. His hands that were holding Jusama's breasts also started to slide down. When her private parts were under his control, Shokuhu Misaki opened her eyes. Her starry eyes stared at Wu Yan's satisfied face. Her face started to turn red. This is the second time Shokuhu Misaki's private parts were under someone's control, and both times it was by the same person. Shokuhu Misaki's face got redder and redder as Wu Yan's movements intensified. Her body started to lose its strength as she leaned against Wu Yan's chest. She leaned against Wu Yan's chest to support herself. Jusama's lips were sealed. She could only let out a whimper to express her inner trembling. Her body started to twist uncontrollably. Jusama's twisting almost caused a problem. Wu Yan, who was in close contact with Jusama, almost lost control of himself. Unable to hold himself back, Wu Yan let go of her captive lips. He roughly twisted Shokuhu Misaki's limp body so that she is facing away from him and leaning against his chest. Then, he reached out with both hands and grabbed Jusama's private parts. Ugh no, Shokuhu Misaki, who just got a chance to catch her breath, had her private parts captured by Wu Yan. She cried out in surprise, but the tone of her voice suddenly dropped to the freezing point. It turned into a seductive moan. Shokuhu Misaki has never been treated like this before. Her heart was trembling violently. She almost escaped from the control of her chest to take a breath of fresh air. She wanted to stop Wu Yan's movements, but she didn't know where all her strength went. Plus, she's a sports idiot. How could she win against Wu Yan? In the end, Shokuhu Misaki could only say no. She wanted to pull Wu Yan's hand down to touch her private parts, but she could only helplessly hold on to Wu Yan's wrist. It was like she was trying to resist but also trying to resist. He licked his lips and licked his lips. He stuck out his tongue and started licking Shokuhu Misaki's cheeks bit by bit. Shokuhu Misaki's cheeks are so alluring that they're practically drooling out of her body. Wu Yan licked his lips. Ah. Ugh. Shokuhu Misaki could only passively accept what Wu Yan was doing to her. Originally, Shokuhu Misaki would hate anyone who did this to her without her consent. But for some reason, facing Wu Yan, Shokuhu Misaki was shocked to find that in her heart, she didn't even feel much resistance, let alone hate. Chapter 234. Ugh. Listening to Jusama's moans that reached the peak, Wu Yan licked Jusama's perspiration while licking the sweat off her face. He was a bit surprised. Could it be? Is Jusama the sensitive type? With that thought in mind, Wu Yan tightened his grip on her breasts. Jusama felt like she was hit by something. She groaned loudly. Her skin had turned pink. Seeing this, Wu Yan couldn't help but laugh. He moved closer to Shokuhu Misaki's ear and teased her. Jusama, I didn't expect your sensitive spot to be here. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki looked back at Wu Yan, who had a smirk on his face. She wanted to say something, but the lust coming from her body drained her of her strength. Her voice turned into a moaning moan. Seeing Jusama unable to speak, Wu Yan's lips curled into an evil smile. He once again moved closer to Jusama's ear. It seems like he won't stop until Jusama speaks. Milady Queen, since you're not saying anything, I'll take it that you've admitted to it. However, it's understandable. Milady Queen's breasts are so soft and alluring. It's just that I know of your weakness. Shokuhu Misaki bit her lips. She felt a bit embarrassed. Just like what Wu Yan said, her weakness was completely under his control. He even used it as if it was a natural thing to do. Perhaps he saw the shame in Shokuhu Misaki's eyes. Wu Yan smiled happily. This Shokuhu Misaki, in order to fight with Mikoto, she's given him a lot of trouble. Today, she's finally fallen into his hands. With a smile, Wu Yan moved one of his hands to Shokuhu Misaki's waist and tidied up her Tokuwada uniform. Then, under Jusama's panicked expression, he slid his hand under her clothes. Shokuhu Misaki's heart rate increased by a few %. She could feel his warm hand caressing her belly. She couldn't help but moan. Don't. Wu Yan ignored her and bit down on her earlobe. Her body shuddered as his hand slowly crept up her clothes. Slowly, he moved his hand up her body. Shokuhu Misaki's heart pounded furiously. She pressed down on Wu Yan's hand that's going under her clothes. She said with a bashful expression. Why have you been touching me for so long? Are you still not satisfied? Me? Well, how could I possibly be satisfied? Wu Yan said shamelessly. Jusama's body is so alluring, no matter how long I touch it, I'll never be satisfied. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but feel a little proud and happy. Shokuhu Misaki has always been very confident about her body. She also knows how tempting her body is to those men. However, hearing Wu Yan say that her body is so alluring, Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but feel a little proud. After all, a woman will doll herself up for her bosom friend. This saying applies to the body that Shokuhu Misaki is so proud of. That being said, Jusama still wants to stop Wu Yan's violence. After all, Jusama is still a woman. She has the most basic modesty. She can't just stand by and watch her baby fall into Wu Yan's hands. Even if she's already been touched by him through her clothes, don't. Shokuhu Misaki panted. Wu Yan's other hand hasn't stopped ravaging her body. Can you do it through my clothes? Even with her personality, Jusama couldn't help but blush when she said that. Of course, it's also because of the previous foreplay, Jusama. Wu Yan said with a grin, he's asking for a beating. Let's go all out. Don't forget, this time, you're the one who's taking the initiative. Wu Yan didn't give Shokuhu Misaki a chance to respond. His hand that was hovering on her belly suddenly moved up and gently pried open Shokuhu Misaki's breasts. He grabbed one of her soft breasts and started ravaging it without any hindrance. Smooth and tender. Delicate and soft. These three adjectives immediately popped into Wu Yan's mind. Shokuhu Misaki cried out in surprise, which was quickly replaced by moans. Hugh. Jusama closed her eyes in resignation. Her mouth opened and closed, moaning while panting. She's enjoying this special feeling that she's only experienced today. At this time, Wu Yan's other hand slipped into Jusama's bosom. Damn it. In a distant corner, the ladies of Tokuwadai who had witnessed this scene from the beginning to the end could only watch helplessly as the object of their dreams was treated in such a manner by a scumbag who owned a crystal palace. They were on the verge of exploding. Those with handkerchiefs have already taken out their handkerchiefs and started biting them like their mortal enemies. Their handkerchiefs were quickly destroyed by them. Thus, they followed the example of those without handkerchiefs and started biting their Tokuwadai uniforms. If it wasn't for the quality of the uniforms, they would have already exposed their breasts. If it wasn't for the fact that Misaksuma hasn't made a move yet, they would have charged out and chopped Wu Yan into pieces. They can only stay in this corner and mumble to themselves as if they're there. If this continues, Shokuhu-sama will be in danger. Shokuhu-sama, hurry up and leave that scumbag. That scumbag, how dare he lick Shokuhu-sama's beautiful face with his dirty tongue. He even touched Shokuhu-sama's breasts. He even put his hand on Shokuhu-sama's most precious breasts. God, he actually put his hand into Shokuhu-sama's clothes. That hand must be chopped off. No. It must be chopped into pieces. What hand? Not only his hand, wherever that scumbag touched Shokuhu-sama, that part must be chopped off. I think we should just chop that scumbag into pieces. No. I think we should just hang him up and whip him, let him suffer a fate worse than death. Shokuhu-sama, my Shokuhu-sama, has been defiled by that scumbag. Mikoto's face was getting uglier and uglier as she listened to her juniors gnashing their teeth and complaining. She had already decided that what she didn't see couldn't grieve over. Now that she heard the live broadcast of the report, she was in a terrible mood. Kuriko, who was standing on the side, saw her sister's expression. She snickered and her eyes shined like a wolf. It's as if she can see her sister leaving that scumbag and throwing herself into her arms. Mikoto kept telling herself to calm down, but soon, her calmness was shattered by what happened next. She couldn't bear to watch any longer. Shokuhu Misaki, who was closing her eyes and enduring Wu Yan's actions, suddenly screamed. Her slightly emotional face was instantly replaced by panic. The reason is because one of Wu Yan's hand that left her clothes is now on her ***. He's rubbing her ***, and he's slowly moving up her ***. No. Not knowing where she got the strength, Shokuhu Misaki grabbed Wu Yan's hand on her breasts and gasped for breath. Only here, absolutely not. Who knew? Wu Yan only smiled in disdain. He didn't even bother to answer and directly broke free from Shokuhu Misaki's weak resistance. Then, under Shokuhu Misaki's panicked expression, he quickly reached under her skirt. Chapter 235. Shokuhu Misaki's hand is about to reach her most intimate part. She can't stop it with her current strength. She can only moan and close her eyes, waiting for Wu Yan's hand to come. Just as he was about to succeed, a familiar electromagnetic field rippled through Wu Yan's senses, causing his hand to stop in midair. His face was filled with shock. Stop. A soul-stirring voice, accompanied by unconcealable anger and violent lightning, in a blink of an eye, descended upon this world where there are only the two of them. Mikoto. As soon as Wu Yan called out, a bolt of lightning shot towards Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki at lightning speed. Perhaps it's a sign of the owner's determination to kill this adulterous pair. The crackling sound of lightning finally woke Wu Yan up from his stupor. Wu Yan's eyes narrowed when he saw the bolt of lightning heading straight for him and Shokuhu Misaki. His bangs fluttered, a similar bolt of lightning flashed across Wu Yan's forehead, then it met the incoming bolt of lightning head-on. The lightning bolts collided with each other. With a loud bang, a blue-white light and scattered sparks burst out like fireworks, shining in between the two masters. Wu Yan didn't even have time to catch his breath before a barrage of attacks came crashing down on him. Wind blades, flames, icicles, water pillars, even trash cans, stools, tables, they all came crashing down on Wu Yan's face. Wu Yan's expression changed, he hugged Jusama and quickly retreated to the back, creating a distance between them. Almost touching Wu Yan's skin, the attacks all landed on Wu Yan's original position. Then, there's nothing left, except for rocks, there's nothing left. A drop of cold sweat dripped down his face. Wu Yan didn't doubt that if he was still in that position, not even his bones would be left. When the culprit appeared in front of Wu Yan, the cold sweat on Wu Yan's face turned into a waterfall of sweat, soaking his face. Standing in front of Wu Yan is Mikoto. Behind her is a large group of people, all of them wearing the same Tokuwadai uniform. This tells Wu Yan who the culprit is. If it's just this, of course it wouldn't be enough to make Wu Yan sweat like a waterfall. More importantly, other than Mikoto, everyone else is covered in a strange black aura. Wu Yan looked at this group of people with fear. They're releasing the same aura as the FFF group, but there's something different about them. He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He reflexively let go of Jusama in his arms. Jusama collapsed on the ground after losing the strength to support herself. Her clothes are messy, her face is suspiciously red, her starry eyes are blurred, she's panting non-stop. Seeing this, the black aura around the Tokuwadai FFF group members behind Mikoto became thicker. Among them, there's a black and white creature. What are you doing? Mikoto angrily glared at the Tokuwadai girls behind her. If Mikoto's attack is an infinitely weakened version and severely off-target, then these Tokuwadai girls are using all of their strength and attacking with all of their might. When the Tokuwadai girls heard Mikoto's question, they all looked at Mikoto with a, "It's none of our business, you're the one who led the attack, we're just following your lead," look. This made Mikoto furious. At this moment, the Tokuwadai misses are acting like a bunch of rascals who aren't afraid of being scalded by boiling water. Seeing this, Mikoto helplessly turned her head and glared at Wu Yan. Mikoto. Wu Yan awkwardly scratched his face. He tried to greet his wife as if nothing happened. But when he thought about how the ripple between him and Jusama might have been seen by the many people watching, Wu Yan felt a little lacking in confidence. After all, Sis Cannon is his rightful partner. Jusama doesn't have a reliable partner. After this farce, what's the difference between this and finding a mistress and getting caught by your wife? Plus, the group behind Mikoto is releasing an aura that even a true ancestor like him is a little afraid of. Also, the attack just now doesn't mean much, but when combined together, it's enough to kill him 100 times over. Before Mikoto could say anything, Kuriko, who was standing beside her, snickered. She reached under her skirt and pulled out a few steel needles and held them between her fingers. Scum! How dare you cheat in broad daylight? You've reached the end of your life. Today, I'll definitely rescue Big Sister from your hands. After that, Kuriko moved the steel needles towards Wu Yan in front of her sister's shocked expression. Kuriko's attack is like a domino effect. The Ojusama of Tokuwadai all shouted in unison as they activated their abilities and threw them at Wu Yan. The overwhelming bullet screen once again fell into Wu Yan's line of sight, illuminating his face and illuminating his rapidly changing face. For a moment, Wu Yan seems to have seen his own ending. He completely forgot about his identity as a true ancestor and saw a huge boobs Grim Reaper waving at him from the other side of the river. Of course, the illusion in Wu Yan's mind was quickly shattered by the bullet screen. With a wave of his hand, a few bolts of electricity shot into the ground. A wave of iron sand gushed out from the ground and formed a wall of iron sand in front of Wu Yan, blocking the bullet screen. He then gently tilted his body to avoid the steel needles that suddenly appeared at his previous position. Wani-sama. Seeing the familiar lightning and iron sand, Kuriko, who didn't know that Wu Yan and Mikoto have the same ability, thought that it was her sister who saved the scum. She immediately shouted in dissatisfaction. The other Tokuwadai ladies also thought that it was Mikoto who did it. After all, even though Wu Yan released lightning to cancel out Mikoto's lightning, they weren't able to follow Mikoto's sudden attack. By the time they reacted, the two bolts of lightning had already collided. That's why they thought that Wu Yan is a powerless person. Even Kuriko, who failed to ambush Wu Yan multiple times, chose to escape from reality. All of you shut up, Mikoto said exasperatedly. She didn't have any intention of killing Wu Yan, she just couldn't stand it anymore, so she suddenly attacked. Who knew, Wani-sama? Kuriko lowered her head in disappointment and conveniently glared at Wu Yan. She seems to be a bit dissatisfied. Why is Wu Yan still alive in this world? Seeing that their Misaka-sama is about to speak, the other Tokuwadai ladies all suppressed their urge to attack. They dispersed the lightning bolts in their hands and looked at Wu Yan with hostility. Being glared at by a group of beautiful girls was pleasing to the eye. However, being glared at by a group of beautiful girls who seemed to have turned into evil was not a good thing at all. Wu Yan felt a pain in his balls when he felt the piercing gaze on him. He turned his head away awkwardly and didn't want to look at these girls who are guest stars of the FFF group. After reprimanding the Tokuwadai ladies, Mikoto looked at Wu Yan. Seeing the dry smile on his face, she couldn't hold back her anger and forced a smile. Yan, aren't you going to give me an explanation? Wu Yan smiled awkwardly. Mikoto, you know that I have a promise with Shokuhu Misaki to go on a date with her. That's not what I'm talking about. Mikoto couldn't help but shout as sparks of electricity flashed across her forehead. I'm asking you. Why are you in this place? With her. Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched as a sense of helplessness rose in his heart. It's over. I was really seen. Chapter 236. Widening his eyes, Wu Yan stared at the Tokuwadai girl standing in front of him, enough to trample the floor. His mouth twitched. Just thinking about what he did with Jusama just now in front of so many people, and all of them girls at that, Wu Yan couldn't stay calm. In the eyes of the Tokuwadai girls, Wu Yan dared to announce in public that he owns the Crystal Palace and is regarded as a scumbag. It's normal for him to do such a thing. Even so, they can't help but use their knives. Under their unfriendly gazes, Wu Yan couldn't help but take a few steps back. He's wondering if he should just run away. Just as Wu Yan was about to run away, Jusama took her last breath and opened her starry eyes. Looking at Mikoto, Kuriko, and the Tokuwadai girls not far away, her face flushed red. Immersed in Wu Yan's advances and the pleasure that Wu Yan brought her, Jusama forgot that someone was secretly following them. In other words, the scene of her being intimate with Wu Yan has been seen by this group of girls. Shokuhu Misaki felt abnormally shy. After all, as long as she's a girl, she would feel shy if she was caught doing such a thing. But Jusama is Jusama, she recovered after a while. Slowly standing up from the ground, Shokuhu Misaki straightened her clothes and looked at Mikoto with a charming smile as if nothing happened. Misaka-san, you brought so many juniors to the amusement park to play? Seeing Shokuhu Misaki being played by Wu Yan like that? She even pretended to be elegant and greeted her. Mikoto cursed in her heart for being shameless. Shokuhu Misaki. Mikoto raised her small fist and glared at Shokuhu Misaki. You've provoked me time and time again. Do you really think I won't do anything? Misaka-san, what are you talking about? Shokuhu Misaki tilted her head with a, I don't understand, look. What did I do to make you angry? How can you say it's a provocation? Then what were you doing just now? Being so intimate with someone else's boyfriend, is it because you have the potential to be a seductress? Mikoto's words were already out of her mouth, and when she said those words, her jaw dropped to the floor. Shokuhu Misaki smiled faintly. No one would have guessed that the person lying on the ground was her. She covered her mouth and smiled meaningfully. Misaka, you don't have much charm. You can't even attract Xiao Yan, so he can only be intimate with me. What did you say? Mikoto shrieked. At the same time, Wu Yan shrieked. Wu Yan was unable to remain calm as he looked at Her Highness Queen, who was smiling indifferently. He cursed in his heart. Her Highness Queen is really too evil. Once she said those words, I will definitely die. Sure enough, Mikoto's attention was quickly diverted by Shokuhu Misaki. She turned her attention to Wu Yan and her eyes curved dangerously. Tell me. Is it because I don't have any charm that I can attract you? Is that why you went for this woman? Wu Yan raised his hand and slapped himself on the head. He wanted to cry but no tears came out. To be honest, Sis Cannon's body is still a little lacking, but under Wu Yan's efforts, it's gotten a lot better than before. It made Sis Cannon even more alluring. Even if that wasn't the case, Sis Cannon is still the same Sis Cannon. Wu Yan is also very cute with her. It's a fantasy that she can't attract him. Compared to Her Highness Queen, perhaps Her Highness Queen is more charming, but Sis Cannon is definitely not bad either. Wu Yan could only roll his eyes at Mikoto. I say, I'm troubled by how much you believe in other people's comments. Wu Yan reflexively looked at Mikoto's body and said thoughtfully, as if he was recalling something. Do you still remember when we were at the hotel, that morning when you were with Chuju? Before he could finish, a pair of small hands covered Wu Yan's mouth and stopped him from continuing. Mikoto's face was red as she covered Wu Yan's mouth with both hands. All right, I got it. You don't have to say any more. Wu Yan pulled Mikoto's hands down in a vengeful manner and said righteously, how can I not say it? I have to tell you properly. Then you'll know if you're attracted to me or not. Mikoto wanted to bite him to death when she heard what he said. She could only yell back with a red face. No need. It's my fault. You don't have to say any more. Oh. You admit that you're attracted to me? Wu Yan smiled evilly, making Mikoto's red face even redder. She could only glare at Shokuhu Misaki. My brain must be damaged if I believe you. Shokuhu Misaki snorted with dissatisfaction. Did I say something wrong? Shokuhu Misaki ran up to Wu Yan and wrapped her arms around his neck. She pouted. Little Yen, tell me, did I say anything wrong? Compared to that woman with a bad figure, is little Xian not attractive enough for you to be intimate with little Xian? Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched. He resisted the urge to spank her ass. Inside, he was cursing. This Jusama is obviously trying to catch his words. You. Mikoto had the urge to curse at Shokuhu Misaki, but she wasn't good with words, so she didn't know what words to use. She could only point at Shokuhu Misaki with a trembling finger. She didn't want to be compared to Shokuhu Misaki the most. Now that Shokuhu Misaki used her as a comparison, Mikoto didn't know what to say. Shokuhu Misaki gave Mikoto a provocative look before turning to Wu Yan with her seductive eyes. Little Yen, tell me, does little Xian attract you or not? Mikoto immediately looked at Wu Yan as if waiting for Wu Yan's answer. This made Wu Yan's hair stand on end. Will you guys die if you don't quarrel for a day? Shokuhu Misaki pouted when she didn't get the answer she wanted. She thought of something and her face turned red. But when she saw Mikoto's angry face, her heart hardened. She suddenly reached out and grabbed Wu Yan's hand. Then, under the shocked faces of Wu Yan, Mikoto, and the girls of Tokuwadai, she placed his hand on her ample bosom. You, what are you doing? Mikoto yelled at Shokuhu Misaki with a red face. She was shocked by Shokuhu Misaki's sudden action. Wu Yan's mind went blank. The soft touch on his hand told Wu Yan that this isn't a dream. Jusama really did offer her breasts in front of everyone. Shokuhu Misaki's face was also red. She decided to go all out. She was touched and pinched just now, it doesn't matter if she's touched again. Shokuhu Misaki ignored the fact that there are people around her. After all, they saw what happened just now. Besides, other than Wu Yan, the rest of the people here are all girls. Moreover, they are girls from the same school. Otherwise, Shokuhu Misaki wouldn't have dared to do something so daring in front of so many strangers. After this, I'll erase their memories of today. That's it, Jusama, who thought of this, giggled again. She stuck out her breasts and let them sink even deeper into Wu Yan's hands. It's hard to tell if she's doing it on purpose or if it's for real. Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan and she whispered. Little Yen, didn't you like them a lot? So, I'm sure I'm more attractive to you than that woman with a bad figure, right? Wu Yan didn't answer. He was so shocked by Jusama's actions that his brain short-circuited. All he could do was stare blankly at his hands on Shokuhu Misaki's breasts. Asterisk beep. Asterisk, an electric current flashed on Mikoto's forehead. Mikoto's heart wasn't calm at all. Hearing Shokuhu Misaki's words, looking at Shokuhu Misaki's face and Wu Yan's hands on her breasts, a monstrous rage rushed into her heart. So much so that Mikoto did something that made everyone who just picked up their dropped jaws drop their own jaws again. Chapter 237. Wu Yan is stunned, Shokuhu Misaki is stunned, Kuriko is stunned, and the other maidens of Tokuwadai are stunned as well. Of the two hands that were originally on Shokuhu Misaki's chest, one of them had disappeared and the other hand was now on Mikoto's chest. One of his hands is still feeling Shokuhu Misaki's ample bosom while the other hand is holding onto a small and delicate one. He can't believe it when he feels the same soft sensation coming from both of his hands. Wu Yan can't believe it, Shokuhu Misaki can't believe it even more. In this place, other than Wu Yan and Kuriko, Shokuhu Misaki dares to say that she knows Misaka Mikoto the best. This proud and pampered girl, let alone having her breasts touched, even if someone just pulled her hand, she would probably blush and lose control of the electric current flowing through her body. And now, this easily embarrassed girl actually pressed a man's hand on her breasts in front of so many people. Shokuhu Misaki thought that she was brave enough, but a woman's competitive nature is scary. She can even make Mikoto do something even more daring than her. After all, Shokuhu Misaki can use her ability to erase other people's memories. Mikoto doesn't have that ability. Kuriko's face is completely blank. It's like she's been done 100 times. She's completely broken. Looking at the hand on Mikoto's breasts, her mouth opened and closed but no words came out. Even Kuriko, the most perverted existence, was shocked to the point of being speechless, not to mention those young ladies of Tokuwadai who have never even seen an impure film before. Mikoto's head is already smoking. She's so embarrassed that she almost fainted. But when she thought about how Shokuhu Misaki seduced her sweetheart in front of her, she gritted her teeth and shouted at Wu Yan hysterically. I won't lose to that woman. Right. Yen. Mikoto yelled at the top of her lungs. Finally, Wu Yan's soul flew back from who knows where. Looking at the two plump hands in each of his hands, Wu Yan giggled. Although it's not like he's never touched two different girls' breasts at the same time, it's never been as exciting as this. Under the eyes of so many people, especially his archenemy, Sis Cannon and Jusama, Wu Yan felt like he's in a dream. He smiled contentedly. His hands tightened, the two girls who were still arguing suddenly froze. They moaned and fell into Wu Yan's arms. On one side is Jusama's breasts, on the other side is Sis Cannon. Endless heart is filled with happiness. This is even more than the last time he secretly needed two girls' breasts. This is even more exciting. In his excitement, Wu Yan couldn't hold back the fire in his heart. He grabbed the two girls' breasts and started kneading them. Another seductive moan. The two girls' bodies started to soften under Wu Yan's actions. They fell into Wu Yan's arms. They couldn't help but pant. At this moment, Wu Yan hugged the two girls in his arms, his hands under their armpits, pressing on their breasts and kneading them with all his might. The two girls were lying on Wu Yan's chest at the same time, looking at each other face to face. Two flushed faces looked at each other, because of the feeling from their breasts and the stimulation from the group of Tokuwadai ladies who were staring at them. The two girls had lost the strength to speak. Their brown eyes and sparkling golden eyes were covered in a thin layer of moisture. The two girls were panting. Their fragrances from their mouths and noses hit each other's body. They were so embarrassed they wanted to die. How could Mikoto and Shokuhu Misaki ever imagine that, as rivals, they would one day fall into the arms of the same man, and at the same time, be hugged by the same man on both sides while fondling their sensitive parts. However, they didn't want to admit defeat to each other, so they could only suppress the shyness in their hearts and enjoy the pleasure from their breasts. As they panted, they stared at each other with all their might, trying to make each other back off. However, when two pairs of lustful eyes stared at each other, it was a very strange feeling. Wu Yan's bones were about to melt from pleasure. His hands kept rubbing the big and small soft breasts, listening to their purposely suppressed moans and gasps. Wu Yan's lust was rising. Just when Wu Yan couldn't hold it in any longer, he wanted to adjust the position of the two girls in his arms and give them a hard time. A monstrous chill suddenly descended from the sky and enveloped him, causing his body to stiffen. Wu Yan involuntarily stopped rubbing. He raised his head mechanically. The scene imprinted in Wu Yan's vision caused Wu Yan's stiff face to completely collapse. The Tokuwadai ladies, who could be described as an army, with Kuriko as the leader, all of them lowered their heads, using their bangs to cover their eyes. He couldn't see their expressions. Under their bangs, he could only see a small shadow, but behind them, there was a huge layer of black substance that could be seen with the naked eye. Standing in front of them, Wu Yan could see that their mouths were lightly moving, as if they were saying something. When Wu Yan heard what they were saying, his back was instantly soaked in sweat. Die, 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 die. Like a precise machine, the Tokuwadai ladies, who were arranged in an army formation, as if they were counting off, one after another, they said the word die, one after another. Gulp. Wu Yan swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. Looking at the ladies who seemed to be possessed by the god of death, he pulled out a smile that was uglier than crying. That, die, 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 die. A chill ran down his spine. Deep within his heart, he felt the shadow of death looming over him. Wu Yan couldn't help but be horrified by this. As a true ancestor, Wu Yan is immortal. The shadow of death is even more so. From the moment he exchanged for the true ancestor bloodline, he should have left this world. But now, in front of him, a group that he could easily choke to death, actually caused him to feel the shadow of death. Could it be that the dark girls are really invincible? The only thing he could hear was the word die. Other than that, the ladies seemed to have lost all ability to function. It made Wu Yan feel like he was soaked in an ice spring. He kept trembling. Subconsciously, out of reflex, Wu Yan once again pinched Mikoto and Shokuhu Misaki in his arms. The two girls let out a heavy moan. When the moans rang out, the black aura that enveloped the bodies of the blackened girls suddenly exploded, covering the sky and the earth, causing them to raise their heads. With the same evil smile on her face, the leader of the dark girls laughed. She laughed until her whole body started trembling. Scum, are you looking for death? Or are you looking for death? Or are you looking for death? Are you looking for death? Or are you looking for death? Or are you looking for death? Everyone, can you calm down first? Oh, so you're looking for death. If you're looking for death, then we'll grant you your wish. Wu Yan's body shook and he quickly leaped back. The next second, countless attacks landed on the spot where he stood, smashing a huge crater in the ground. Looking at the bottomless crater, Wu Yan's face turned pale. He quickly put down the two girls in his arms and ran away like his life depended on it. Stop right there. Despicable scum. Die. Die. Don't think you'll survive today. The group of Tokuwadai girls chased after Wu Yan's figure and ran away. The next day, a new urban legend was born. It said that 80% of the Tokuwadai girls who don't have boyfriends were betrayed by a scum, so they formed an army of women and chased that scum to the ends of the earth. Until that scumbag was saved by a pink-winged angel. Chapter 238. Sit up straight. Wu Yan shuddered and quickly sat up. He looked at Mikoto, Chuju and Astria, who are looking at him like he's some kind of criminal being judged. He started crying in his heart. When did I get punished by my women to kneel on the floor? Even though I'm still sitting down. Master. Ikaros turned to Mikoto and Hinajaku as she looked at Wu Yan, who was still sitting there with tears in his eyes. She couldn't bear to see him like this. Ikaros, don't you dare plead for him. How could Hinajaku and Mikoto not know what Ikaros is thinking since they are familiar with her personality that revolves around Wu Yen? Thus, they bluntly rejected the pleading in Ikaros' eyes. Master. Ikaros clenched her fists tightly. She closed her eyes and pretended she didn't see Wu Yen, who is about to fall into the abyss of suffering. Wu Yen wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Great, now even Ikaros can't save him. Looks like Mikoto and Hinajaku's scolding convention has to continue. Chuju crossed her arms in front of her chest and narrowed her yellow-green eyes at Wu Yen. You caused quite a ruckus yesterday, Yen. Yep. Astria nodded as if she's serious. Wu Yen really wanted to grab her and spank her ass. It's one thing for her to not save her master when he's in danger, but to hit him while he's down. Chuju placed a laptop in front of Wu Yen. There's a message on it. More than 80% of the girls in Tokuwadai who don't have boyfriends were betrayed by a scumbag. They formed an army of women and chased that scumbag to the ends of the earth. Until that scumbag was saved by a pink-winged angel. Looking at this latest urban legend of Academy City, also known by the nickname of the scumbag being hunted down, Wu Yen sweated profusely. What's even more sweaty is the comments below. Huh? Had he let down more than 80% of the Tokuwadai ladies who didn't have boyfriends? Floor Lord, you must be joking. Who would have such great ability to pick up so many girls at once? Moreover, they are the big misses of Tokuwadai. A pink-winged angel? OP, please go to the hospital, remember to register yourself in the psychiatric department. OP, what's the phone number of being chased scumbag? Please let me take him as my master. Top floor. Those on the 3rd and 4th floor, they've gone crazy thinking about girls. No. He must have gone crazy from wanting to be a scumbag. Hello, OP. Goodbye, Tower Master. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Wu Yen forced a smile. Chuju smiled brightly at Wu Yen. Yen, you're quite capable to be able to win the heart of such a girl. Hearing this, Wu Yen was even more speechless. I say, Chuju, you know that it's not like that. Of course I know it's not like that. Hinajaku slammed the table as if trying to show off her authority. Unfortunately, she slapped Astria's hand that was reaching for the fruit platter on the table. Astria yelped in pain and blew on Hinajaku's hand. She laughed awkwardly as Astria grabbed Hinajaku's hand and blew on it. Mikoto helplessly rubbed her forehead as she watched the drama unfold. She looked like she's having a headache, but when she saw Wu Yen sitting there trying to hold back his laughter, she got angry again. You're still laughing? I haven't settled the score with you yet. What do I owe you now? Wu Yen said in a wronged tone. He didn't know what kind of bad luck he had. He thought it was his lucky day when Sis Cannon and Jusama gave him benefits at the same time. Who knew he would end up being chased by the dark girls? They chased him for 9 whole streets and almost half of School District 7. It's no wonder he became an urban legend. If it wasn't for Ikaros descending from the sky and saving him at the end, the consequences would have been, when he thought about the group of Tokuwadai Oyo-sama that went berserk, he couldn't help but shiver a bit. Seeing him like this, Mikoto became even angrier. How dare you say you owe me something? Mikoto pointed at Wu Yen in anger. Her face turned red as she trembled. You treated me like that in front of so many Tokuwadai juniors and you dare say you don't owe me anything? Wu Yen was stunned. Is this my fault? You were the one who grabbed my hand and pressed it against your own chest. Thinking along these lines, Wu Yen forgot that it was Mikoto who pressed down, but the one who rubbed down is him. Mikoto's face flushed red. Now, everyone in Tokuwadai already knows that I was If I can, I don't want to face those juniors of yours. Now, they use the excuse of protecting Misaka-sama from being approached by scum as an excuse to move around me every day. They even follow me when I go out on the street. If I didn't find a chance to sneak away, I wouldn't be able to come here now. Luckily you didn't stupidly bring them here. Otherwise, you'll have to wait to collect my corpse. Furthermore, hey, Z, that guy, when he saw me being so intimate with you, he actually began to suspect whether or not I've been taken by you. In one night, he ambushed me several tens of times, saying that he wanted to check if I was a virgin. That perverted Yuri creature didn't use an aphrodisiac on you. That's good enough. The most serious thing is, those teachers, one or two of them came to scold me. They said I was too young and shouldn't go overboard. The most ridiculous thing is, they told me to take care of my body. What kind of teachers are they? It's fine if those unreliable teachers came to me. I didn't expect that even the dormitory supervisor came to me. She said it was my business to mess around, but I couldn't break the rules of the dormitory. She didn't allow me to bring anyone over for the night. She said a bunch of dormitory rules until my head started to swell. The dormitory supervisor is mighty. Are you listening to me or not? I heard it. I heard it. Wu Yan quickly said. Sis Cannon was very agitated now. If he angered her, it wouldn't be a big deal for him, but the house he bought with great difficulty would be in trouble. After speaking so much in one go, Mikoto felt her mouth dry up. She took a sip of her drink and panted a few times before turning her head away angrily. Tell me, what should I do now? Wu Yan paused for a second. What do you mean, what should I do? Mikoto slumped on the table weakly and whimpered. My life has been messed up. I can't live in Tokuwadai anymore. If this continues, I'll burn to ashes. Mikoto abruptly lifted her head and yelled at Wu Yan. Come up with an idea for me. This is all your fault. All right, I got it. Wu Yan said helplessly. Why don't you just move in from now on? Mikoto's eyes lit up but quickly dimmed again. Hoo, Tokuwadai's rules are very strict. They don't even allow us to spend the night outside, let alone move out. You don't have to worry about that. Wu Yan smiled. I have an idea. You'll be allowed to move in soon. Really? Mikoto looked at Wu Yan suspiciously. Wu Yan nodded in affirmation. Alistair wouldn't mind doing her a small favor. That's great. Chuju clapped her hands and pulled Mikoto. Let's go, Mikoto, we'll stay in the same room. Stunned, Wu Yan pointed at himself in a daze. What about me? Chuju blushed and said angrily. Go sleep by yourself. Dejected, Wu Yan lowered his head, but very quickly, he looked at Ikaros with a hopeful expression. Who knew that Mikoto would say? Ikaros, let's have a good chat tonight. After that, she pulled Ikaros away. Wu Yan was stunned. He could only look at the last person left in the room. Astria's face turned red as she yelled at Wu Yan. Master. Idiot. She left as well, leaving Wu Yan alone with a dejected look on his face. Chapter 239. Night, tossing and turning, he tossed and turned on the bed. He tried all sorts of methods to hypnotize himself, but no matter what he did, he just couldn't fall asleep. He was used to having a pillow by his side and playing pa-pa-pa games every night. Now, he was suddenly alone in an empty room. Wu Yan didn't know how many times he had cried in his heart, clenching his teeth. Wu Yan thought about how there were 4 beautiful girls living under the same roof. 3 of them were his wives, and he was reduced to sleeping alone. Wu Yan wanted to slap himself until he fainted. How about I just run over and push her down? It's a tempting idea. Wu Yan has done this many times before. But, in the past, he would only do 2p at most. Now, there are 3 of them. Even if he wants to fly with 3 of them at the same time, the thought of flying with 3 of them made his heart itch. But, when he remembered that Railgun is still mad at him, he gave up on this tempting idea. After an unknown amount of time, Wu Yan finally felt a little sleepy. His eyelids fluttered, and he finally closed them slowly and fell asleep, so much so that Wu Yan didn't even hear the mechanical voice that sounded like an ancient well. That night, Wu Yan didn't sleep well. Even in his dreams, he felt a little half awake. His whole body was itchy, and he tossed and turned unconsciously. He was sleeping, but he didn't feel like sleeping at all. He felt uncomfortable all over. Towards the end, he felt extremely stuffy in his chest. An unprecedented pressure spread from his chest to his whole body, causing Wu Yan to frown the whole night. This feeling tortured Wu Yan for the whole night. Wu Yan was so depressed that even the sun was shining on his butt. Wu Yan was so tired that he didn't want to get up from the bed. It wasn't until a deafening shriek reverberated through the eaves that Wu Yan opened his eyes in shock. The scream just now was from Mikoto and the girls. Quickly climbing up from the bed, he jumped up and ran out of the room. Something big must have happened to make the two usually domineering girls scream like that. In a panic, Wu Yan kicked the door open. What happened? Mikoto. Chuju. When the scene in the living room entered Wu Yan's eyes, a huge sense of dissonance hit him. Wu Yan was stunned. Scratching his head in confusion, Wu Yan was confused. What's going on? In the hall, Mikoto was anxiously jumping up and down, as if she had encountered something unbelievable. Hinajaku, on the other hand, was expressionless as she watched Mikoto jumping up and down, as if nothing could attract her attention. Ikaros and Astria stared at their own bodies in a daze. Wu Yan is even more confused by their current state. But the confusion only lasted for a moment. Soon, Wu Yan's eyes turned into a daze. If Wu Yan didn't hear wrong, the words he shouted just now sounded sweet and delicate. That's a girl's voice. Before Wu Yan could react, the four girls in the living room heard the sound of the door being kicked open. They turned around at the same time. When they saw Wu Yan noticed that they were stunned. After a while, Ikaros suddenly raised her finger and pointed at Wu Yan. You woman. Why are you here? Wu Yan is stunned, he couldn't help but be stunned. First of all, Ikaros yelling at someone with an angry face is already something that doesn't make sense. Second of all, what did Wu Yan hear? You woman. Wu Yan could only try his best to hold his jaw that was about to fall off. He stuttered. Ikaros. When he spoke, Wu Yan was stunned again. The sweet and tender voice came from his throat and came out from his mouth. No matter how slow he is, Wu Yan noticed that his voice is a girl's voice. Wu Yan also noticed this. Not only did his voice change, even his body felt a little strange. Especially his chest, it felt heavy. Combined with what Ikaros said just now, a bad premonition rose from Wu Yan's heart. He reflexively looked at his chest. A pair of voluptuous breasts that covered his lower body entered his vision. As Wu Yan lowered his head, bright golden bangs and slightly messy blonde hair appeared in Wu Yan's vision. Taking a few light breaths, he looked at the four girls and his own body that is even more out of place. He raised his head and looked at the sky. In other words, Mikoto became Ikaros, Ikaros became Chuju, Chuju became Astria, and Astria became Mikoto. Is that it? A blonde man with huge breasts sat in the middle of the hall. Sitting in the middle of the hall, he glanced at the four girls surrounding him and sighed. When they heard Wu Yan's words, the four girls nodded in unison. Then, Ikaros, no, Mikoto who was using Ikaros' body gave Wu Yan an annoyed look. Then, you turned into that annoying woman. Wu Yan sighed again. He wanted to cry but no tears came out. Yes, he turned into her, and it's the familiar her. Shokuho Misaki. Jusama. This body that Wu Yan liked a lot, now it's making him feel like he doesn't want to see it. Astria, the original Hinajaku, looked at her body and frowned. She crossed her arms in front of her chest out of habit. However, her arms were repelled by her ample bosom. She felt pressured as she was originally a flat-chested girl. Yen, according to what you said, we became like this because of that thing called angel fall? Wu Yan nodded. That's the only explanation that can explain why we became like this. Mikoto, no, Astria, who was using Mikoto's body, shouted at Wu Yan anxiously. Then what should we do? Astria doesn't want to use this body, master. Hurry up and think of something. Hey. What do you mean by this body? Mikoto slammed the table in dissatisfaction. Wu Yan felt like he was being cheated. After all, the person who slammed the table in anger was Ikaros. He can imagine how out of place Ikaros, who was supposed to be a fake samurai, suddenly slamming the table in dissatisfaction. Chuju laughed awkwardly before turning to Wu Yan. Yen, Astria is right, we can't go on like this. It's better to solve this quickly. I'm not used to other people's bodies. Is that so? Wu Yan looked at Hinajiku suspiciously before narrowing his eyes. But why do I feel like you like your current body? Everyone in the room turned to look at Chuju. Chuju's expression stiffened and she awkwardly averted her gaze. No, stare. Wu Yan, Mikoto, Astria, Ikaros. Chuju got angry when she saw their faces, saying, I don't believe you. She pointed at Mikoto. Mikoto, don't you like your current body too? Don't spout nonsense. Mikoto quickly refuted. I didn't. However, the more he spoke, the weaker his voice became. The more he spoke, the more guilty he felt. Wu Yan could only helplessly shake his head. It's understandable, Sis Cannon and Kaishu-sama's bodies are a pain in their hearts. Now that they have a chance to use such a voluptuous body, it would be strange if they weren't happy. In any case, let's think of a way to solve this fallen angel problem. Wu Yan decisively said. There should be people from the mage faction working on fallen angel right now. Even though we can wait for them to solve it, it's a bit unreliable. It's better if we do it ourselves. Chuju, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria nodded in unison. Chapter 240. Found it. In the living room, Wu Yan, Mikoto, Hinajiku, and Astria surrounded Ikaros as they watched her work on her computer. They didn't say anything until Ikaros said something. Only then did they step forward. Chuju, no, Ikaros, did you find it? Yes, master. Ikaros looked at Wu Yan with an expressionless face while wearing Chuju's appearance. Wu Yan wasn't used to this. It made him more determined to restore everyone's appearance. Hinajiku leaned in front of the computer screen and looked at the information on it. She asked curiously, Yan, why are you investigating this address? Is it related to Angel Fall? That address. Mikoto frowned as she looked at Wu Yan. When she saw Shokuhu Misaki's face, her frown deepened. She turned her head away helplessly. Ah. Wu Yan nodded and said to the girls. To activate Angel Fall, a ritual must be set up beforehand. Once the ritual is complete, even if it's a normal person, Angel Fall will still be activated. You mean? Chuju thought for a moment and seemed to understand. That's right. Wu Yan pointed at the address on the computer screen. Once the ritual is complete, Angel Fall will be activated. On the other hand, if the ritual site is destroyed, Angel Fall will be disbanded. This address is the ritual site of Angel Fall? Mikoto looked at Wu Yan and asked. Yeah. Wu Yan smiled and said to Mikoto. Once the building at this address is destroyed, Angel Fall will be disbanded. Really? That's great. Astria was the first to jump up and cheer when she heard Wu Yan's words. However, she was using Mikoto's body. She clasped her hands in front of her chest and looked at Wu Yan with admiration. Master is amazing. You know so many things, as expected of my master. Hearing this, Hinajiku and Mikoto were confused. Hinajiku touched her cheek and frowned. Now that Astria mentioned it, I do agree. Yen, you always know things that others don't. Where did you get them from? The last sentence was obviously directed at Wu Yan. Wu Yan could only helplessly shrug and smile at them. How could he possibly tell them that he had seen everything on the screen? Seeing Wu Yan's shameless face, Mikoto, who was already unhappy with his face, became even more unhappy. She coldly humphed and turned her head away. Chuju did the same, but the two girls didn't continue to ask, which made Wu Yan relieved. After thinking for a while, Wu Yan said to the four girls, Chuju, Mikoto, Ikaros, Astria, the four of you, go and destroy that ritual. Chuju and Mikoto immediately asked, what about you? Me? Wu Yan smiled faintly, a strange red light flashed in his golden eyes. I will go and meet that unlucky angel. If Wu Yan's memory serves him right, the archangel who fell to the mortal realm because of angel fall used a spell to destroy the world in order to return to the heavens. Even though in the original work, Tsuchimikado Motoharu destroyed the ritual in time and allowed the archangel to return to heaven, preventing the apocalypse, Wu Yan didn't dare to bet everything on the original plot. He, Hinajaku, Ikaros, and Astria, who originally didn't exist in this world, had already arrived in this world. This world was already different from the moment they arrived in this world. Wu Yan felt that he had to make a trip there to prevent himself from losing an entire instance world if things go wrong. Master. Ikaros immediately stood up and walked in front of Wu Yan. Her intention was clear. Ikaros didn't want Wu Yan to go alone against an angel. Ikaros, follow Chuju and Mikoto to destroy the ritual. Looking at Ikaros' expressionless yet pitiful face, Wu Yan felt weird, but he still raised his hand and patted Ikaros' head. But Ikaros' eyes are filled with worry. Protecting her master's safety is the most basic duty of an angel, but she can't remember how long it's been since the last time she was by her master's side in a battle. Seeing the faint sadness in Ikaros' eyes, Wu Yan felt his heart ache. This girl who puts him at the center of everything, no matter how much he protects her, he feels like he owes her a lot. After patting Ikaros' head, under the shocked gazes of Mikoto, Chuju, and Astria, Wu Yan kissed the corner of Ikaros' lips and smiled at the stunned Ikaros. Be a good girl. Ikaros stared blankly at the beautiful girl who kissed her and stood in front of her. She had a strange feeling in her heart. In the end, thousands of words turned into one sentence. Yes, master. Actually, Ikaros didn't know that the strange feeling in her heart was called scam. Chuju and Mikoto's mouths twitched as they looked at the two who suddenly fell into a pink atmosphere. They felt like thousands of grass mud horses were running through their hearts, even though they know the two in front of them are a real couple, but at least in the eyes of the people here, the scene in front of them is very Yuri, especially Hinajaku. When she saw her body being kissed by a very beautiful girl, her heart was in a mess, and she could only scream madly. Don't mess around with other people's bodies. Walking on the streets of Academy City, Wu Yan helplessly stopped in his tracks. Even though his body is Jusama's, Wu Yan couldn't help but feel a sense of pain in his balls. As expected of an exercise idiot, after walking for less than 10 minutes, he has to stop and rest for 5 minutes. How did he manage to cultivate this body, realizing that if he continues walking like this, the Armageddon might be activated before he arrives? Wu Yan decisively gave up. He casually turned off the electromagnetic barrier on his body and picked up his phone. He didn't even dial the number, he directly spoke into the phone. Alistair, I know you can hear me. After a moment of silence, a voice came from the other side of the phone. What do you need me to do? Very straightforward and concise, very much like Alistair's style. However, Wu Yan had a strange expression on his face. He forced himself to hold back the laughter that was about to come out of his mouth. His face turned red from holding back his laughter. This was because on the other side of the phone, Alistair's voice no longer sounded like a machine. Instead, it sounded very cute and tender, like a cute loli's voice. Even though he didn't know what Alistair looked like, Wu Yan couldn't help but imagine a cute loli with an expressionless face hanging upside down in a culture tank filled with liquid. At this time, Wu Yan finally realized that even a demon god like Alistair would be affected by angel fall. No matter how strong Alistair is, he's still just a human. Even Wu Yan, who has the system and is now a primogenitor, was affected. There's no way Alistair wouldn't be affected by the Archangel's power. He just doesn't know if that damn strong AI Waith was affected. If he was, then it would be fun. Holding back his laughter, Wu Yan coughed and said seriously, help me get ready, you know what I'm going to do. On the other side of the phone, Alistair was silent for a moment before saying, the helicopter to the destination will arrive in 5 minutes. Hearing this, Wu Yan nodded. Listening to Alistair's cute lowly voice, his starry eyes curved into crescents. Perhaps Alistair knew what Wu Yan was thinking. His voice suddenly came. I wish you success. 5th place. Wu Yan's smile froze on his face. Chapter 241. Sitting on the helicopter, Wu Yan looked at the little Shota in the pilot's seat and told himself that he shouldn't take it to heart. The one who cares about the details is Sheruno. Even though Alistair's efficiency is very good and the strength of the driver is very solid, allowing Wu Yan to rush towards the beach where the Archangel's power of God will descend at the fastest speed possible. However, the series of actions with the 4 girls at home has already delayed a lot of time. At this moment, the sun is about to set. Wu Yan doesn't know when the Archangel's power of God will activate the world extinguishing technique. Therefore, Wu Yan can only tell himself that he has to hurry. From time to time, Wu Yan would raise his head to look at the sky to make sure that the world extinguishing technique has yet to appear. Only then did he slow down. However, the silent sky didn't last for long. Soon, a magic formation that covered the entire sky and emitted a terrifying aura of destruction extended from the other side of the sky at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than a second, it covered the entire sky in Wu Yan's line of sight. Feeling the terrifying aura of destruction from the magic formation, Wu Yan's expression gradually sank. In the end, the world extinguishing technique has been activated. It's not here yet? Seeing that the world extinguishing technique has been activated, Wu Yan couldn't help but feel a little anxious. He frowned and shouted at the driver. Without waiting for the driver to speak, a small figure appeared in Wu Yan's line of sight, causing Wu Yan's eyes to narrow. Wu Yan can't see the specific shape of the figure. However, Wu Yan can clearly see the huge icicle wings on her back that look like spider legs. Archangel. Power of God. Under the huge icicle wings, the Archangel's body is like a tiny dot. With the support of the wings, she stopped in midair. Under the huge wings and magic formation, 3 familiar figures that he met for the first time appeared in Wu Yan's line of sight, 2 men and 1 woman. One of the men was old and the other was young. The old man looked somewhat similar to the young man. He had a beard on his chin and looked quite mature. The young man had a hedgehog head. His face was full of misfortune and poverty. People who saw him couldn't help but feel pity for him. They also wanted to step on his face a couple of times. Kamiju Katsuya. Kamiju Toma. Seeing these 2 people, Wu Yan automatically ignored Kamiju Katsuya and directly looked at Kamiju Toma, the main character of the original work. The first time he saw Kamiju Toma, Wu Yan had the urge to kill him. This urge is the same as when he went on dates with Jusama or Mikoto and the other girls. It's the same kind of urge that those who are jealous of him would have when he went on a date with Jusama or Mikoto. It's an impulse that all men will have when they face a winner in life. Although the crystal palace of seducing girls had almost been emptied by him, seducing girls was still a winner in life. Just indicia alone is enough to make countless Lelicons burn him to death. As for the remaining woman, Wu Yan, who was still on the helicopter and could only roughly see her appearance, his eyes lit up. She was wearing a t-shirt that was tied up at the waist and a pair of jeans. The jeans were cut off from the bottom of her left thigh, giving her a very sexy look. Her long black hair was tied up into a ponytail and hung down to her waist. She had a tall and slender figure and fair skin. In her hand was a knife that was very similar to Feifei's night elf. A beauty. A 100% beauty. Even though Wu Yan, who was surrounded by all kinds of outstanding beauties every day and has already trained his taste, to a certain extent, he couldn't help but secretly admire her beauty, soul-rending fire weave. He was a magician from the Church of Necessary Evil, a British Puritan religion, and one of the top 5 magicians in London. One of the only 20 saints in the world, the former Pope of the Forsaken Cross, able to use part of the power of the God's child. A super strong fighter with heart, technique, and physique. These information that he saw on the screen automatically rolled through Wu Yan's mind. Wu Yan's gaze towards Kenzaki Kaori became more serious. In Wu Yan's eyes, Kenzaki Kaori is indeed worthy of such powerful information. Kenzaki Kaori, level 72, impressive. Kenzaki Kaori is a Tier 8 fighter. At this time, Kenzaki Kaori, Kamiju Toma, and Kamiju Katsuya didn't notice a helicopter flying towards them. They were looking at the Archangel's power of God with a serious expression. Kenzaki Kaori looked at the Archangel's power of God and then at the huge magic formation in the sky and gritted her teeth. Lowering her head, Kenzaki Kaori said in a deep voice, "A rain of rockets that once destroyed a fallen civilization." Looking at the Archangel's power of God, Kenzaki Kaori said in a loud voice, "Just to return to heaven, such a goal, the power of God, you intend to destroy this entire world?" Hearing this, Kamiju Toma's body trembled. His unlucky face with a dark aura gradually became serious, and his hand that was holding the girl's hand clenched tightly. "Destroy the world? Don't joke around. Kamiju Toma." Kenzaki Kaori's eyes focused on Kamiju Toma. "Do you intend to interfere? The opponent is an angel. Even if you have fantasy killer, the next level of battle isn't something an ordinary human like you can interfere." Kamiju Toma clenched his teeth and said unwillingly, "Do you want me to watch this world be destroyed?" Kenzaki Kaori was silent, but Kamiju Katsuya suddenly screamed on the side. A girl fell from the sky. Kamiju Toma's righteous face suddenly collapsed. He looked at his father and shouted crazily, "I'm talking to you. This is a very dangerous time. Are you still thinking about something as unrealistic as a beauty falling from the sky?" On the other hand, Shinja Hyuri was stunned when she looked up. No, there really is a girl falling from the sky. At this time, Kamiju Toma finally saw a golden-haired super beauty falling from the sky. He was instantly dumbfounded. He didn't know if it was because there really was a girl falling from the sky or because the other party was very beautiful. After regaining his senses, Kamiju Toma realized that the girl was in free fall. He hurriedly yelled, "Danger," at the girl falling from the sky. Then, he reached out his fantasy killer, or in other words, his hand to grab the girl in the sky. Using the word grab is not wrong, because Kamiju Toma's hand, who knows if it's intentional or not, was aimed at the girl's chest. Of course, the hand didn't know that the girl in the sky, although the body is a girl, inside, there's a real man's heart. This so-called girl falling from the sky is Wu Yan, who came to the scene, directly jumped down from the helicopter after sending the driver away. Looking at the hand that's reaching out towards him, Wu Yan's expression turned awkward. No wonder they're called the hand that's trying to pick up girls. They even dare to reach out to someone they just met for the first time, and with such precision too. At this moment, Wu Yan didn't plan to do free fall anymore. He turned his body, and under the shocked eyes of the girl and two boys, suddenly became light and then, directly floated in the air. Kamiju Toma stared blankly at the beautiful girl floating in the air, muttering, "The girl flew." Kamiju Toma heard Kamiju Toma's words and nodded dumbly. Looking at the old and young pair, Kenzaki Kaori was angry. "What time is it now? You guys are still playing?" She shouted at the two unreliable guys, making them tremble in fear. Kenzaki Kaori also looked at Wu Yan floating in the air and shouted, "Over there, unrelated personnel, please leave this place quickly, this place will become very dangerous." Hearing this, Wu Yan smiled faintly, but didn't immediately answer Kenzaki Kaori. Instead, he looked at Archangel God Strength. A light flashed in his eyes, his face serious to the extreme. God Strength, level 75. Chapter 242. Archangel of God, level 75. Wu Yan's face darkened at the sight of this level. His golden eyes became serious. Archangel of God's level is almost one level higher than his. With his current level, if he were to go against the Archangel's divine power, he would be courting death. Of course, Wu Yan might be able to rely on true ancestors' undying ability to hold off Archangel of God for a while if he doesn't have Jusama's body. But now, it would be a disaster if Jusama's body were to be destroyed. Wu Yan sighed as he looked at Kenzaki Kaori and Kamiju Toma on the ground. His serious expression loosened up a little bit. With their combined strength, they should be able to hold their own against an Archangel of God. Kenzaki Kaori, level 72. Kamiju Toma, level 10. Seeing Kamiju Toma's level, Wu Yan almost fell from the sky. Helplessness in his heart. This girl's hands are really useless. but Wu Yan also knows that Kamiju Toma's level may be low, but that doesn't mean he's weak. His level may be pitifully low, but with that cheating fantasy killer, levels and whatnot aren't that important. As for Kenzaki Kaori, Wu Yan can sense that she's far from being level 72. But once she uses her sage ability and activates her holy mark, she'll be able to hold her own against an archangel of God even if she doesn't have a helper. Wu Yan was thinking to himself in the sky. Kenzaki Kaori thought he was scared stiff by the angel's appearance, so she quickly yelled again. Hurry up and leave this place. It's dangerous here. Hearing Kenzaki Kaori's shout, Wu Yan had no choice but to stop his train of thought. He looked up at the Armageddon in the sky and his starry eyes narrowed. Shokuhu Misaki's sweet voice rippled through the turbulent space. Her lips parted slightly. Indeed, it's dangerous here. Unconsciously raising a hand to cover his mouth, Wu Yan chuckled. He didn't realize that his manly heart had begun to crack and he was acting like a girl. That Armageddon technique is too dangerous. It's better not to leave it behind. Hearing this, Hikari Kaori was taken aback. She seemed a little surprised that the other party would know about Armageddon. But Wu Yan's words made her feel that the other party's background was not simple. Wu Yan glanced at the Archangel's divine power and spoke indifferently, as if the person in front of him wasn't one level higher than him, but one level lower. Archangel, the power of God, you're willing to destroy this world in order to return to the heavens? In that case, you have to get the consent of us tenants first. After speaking, Wu Yan ignored Kenzaki Kaori and the others who were stunned by his words. He looked up at the sky and stared at the Armageddon technique formation. He raised his hand. A ray of light flashed by. Kenzaki Kaori, Kamiju Danma, Kamiju Katsuya, and the Archangel's divine power only saw a blur before they saw a bow in Wu Yan's hand. It's a transparent longbow that looks like a pair of wings. It's as black as ink, and it's shining like stars. Meteor Knight. This is the Meteor Knight that even IWSI wouldn't be able to take on without getting hurt. Once again, it's in Wu Yan's hand. Lights suddenly appeared in the originally dark sky. They were like fireflies, floating slowly in this space. Then, with a burst of speed, they turned into starlight with a faint silver glow, and madly gathered towards the Meteor Knight. The familiar stars rushed towards the Meteor Knight in his hand. Wu Yan's lips curled into an excited smile. This time, he can finally use the Meteor Knight. With excitement, Wu Yan knocked the bowstring of the Meteor Knight and slowly pulled. Starlight as resplendent as the Milky Way gathered on the body of the elegant transparent longbow, forming a shining silver arrow. With the appearance of the arrow, the Archangel's calm expression finally changed. Kenzaki Kaori on the ground was also shocked to see a terrifying aura gushing out from the elegant longbow. It even overshadowed the aura of the Armageddon spell formation in the sky. What kind of bow is that? Kenzaki Kaori looked at the Meteor Knight in Wu Yan's hand and gulped. If it's even more terrifying than the Armageddon spell formation, that's not necessarily the case. If the Armageddon spell formation is activated, then the Meteor Knight will definitely be no match for it. It's only now that the Armageddon spell formation still needs a lot of time to prepare. The Meteor Knight is only slightly stronger than the Armageddon spell formation. The stars are circling around Wu Yan and the Meteor Knight like meteors in the night sky. At this moment, Wu Yan with Shokuhu Misaki's body is like a goddess under the moonlight, very moving. Even Kenzaki Kaori, who was shocked by the might of the Meteor Knight, couldn't help but be a little dazed, let alone Kenzaki Kaori, who was shocked by the might of the Meteor Knight. The Archangel seems to be stunned by the Meteor Knight. She stared blankly at Wu Yan, who is aiming at the Armageddon spell formation in the sky. For a moment, she forgot to react. Looking up at the giant spell formation, Wu Yan pulled the string of Meteor Knight to its fullest. The surrounding stars are constantly replenishing the arrow, increasing its power to the maximum. Until the moment the power reached its peak, a meteor streaked out from the Meteor Knight, cutting through the sky, space, and night. Kenzaki Kaori, Kenzaki Kaori, Kenzaki Kaori, Kenzaki Kaori, and the Archangel all had different expressions on their faces. The meteor crashed into the Armageddon spell formation. There was no strange sound, no strange phenomenon, no terrifying aura, and no brilliance that filled the sky. The meteor collided with the magic array. In the instant it collided with the magic array, the meteor disappeared without a trace. Only the Armageddon spell formation is still shining brightly in the sky. It's as if everything that just happened was just an illusion. After a long time, under Kenzaki Kori's stunned gaze, the Armageddon spell formation in the sky suddenly cracked. Along with this crisp cracking sound, the Armageddon spell formation in the sky started to emit continuous cracking sounds, and then countless cracks appeared on the Armageddon spell formation as if it was glass that had been shattered. In the end, with a loud clang, the magic array that covered the sky turned into fragments and disappeared. Wu Yan put down meteor shower as if he just did something not worth mentioning. Wu Yan bathed in the light of the Armageddon magic formation. Kenzaki Kori's heart was deeply shaken. Wu Yan's heart was deeply shaken. That bow, that meteor, everyone was immersed in that beautiful scene for a long time, unable to extricate themselves. What kind of person was she? Kenzaki Kori stared at Wu Yan, who was floating in the sky. Her shock turned into seriousness and curiosity. Of course, she's looking at the meteor shower in Wu Yan's hand. As a saint of the magic faction, Kenzaki Kori has never heard of any spiritual equipment that can shatter a Armageddon spell formation. Even the spiritual equipment left behind by God Jehovah is the same. With such a terrifying weapon, Kenzaki Kori could foresee that the Church of Necessary Evil's cute bishop would have sleepless nights if the other party was a hostile faction. As for her curiosity, of course, she's curious about Wu Yan himself. She? Just who is she? A magician? An ability user? A free agent? Or a subordinate faction? All of these mysteries made Kenzaki Kori unable to react. Of course, the Archangel God's power is an exception. Chapter 243. The destruction of the Armageddon didn't seem to have caught the attention of Archangel Godly. The only exception was when Wu Yan took out meteor shower. Archangel Godly's expression changed a little when Wu Yan took out meteor shower. On the other hand, Kenzaki Kori, Kamiju Toma, and Kamiju Katsuya looked at the meteor shower in Wu Yan's hand with a blank, serious, and fearful expression. Of course, the other person who just arrived had the same expression. Is that mind control? Tsukimike's Motoharu froze for a moment and exclaimed in surprise. Living in Academy City and with such a sensitive identity, it's impossible for Tsukimike's Motoharu not to recognize the LV5 Shokuhu Misaki. Kenzaki Kori and the others immediately turned to look. Kenzaki Kori frowned and asked Tsukimike's Motoharu. Do you know her? Tsukimike's Motoharu took a deep look at Wu Yan floating in the air and nodded. Her name is Shokuhu Misaki, the fifth of the 7 LV5 in Academy City. Her ability is mind control. Just like her title, she's an expert at manipulating other people's minds. Tsukimike's Motoharu smiled and started to tease her. But this one shouldn't be the fifth meow. After all, I've never heard of the fifth meow being able to fly. Kenzaki Kori froze for a moment before realizing something. You're saying that she was also affected by angel fall? Tsukimike's Motoharu nodded. Kamiju Toma scratched his head in annoyance. Then, who is that up there? No one answered this question, because this was also the biggest doubt in their hearts. Kenzaki Kori even murmured a sentence with rapt attention. I hope it's not an enemy. Tsukimike's Motoharu seems to have heard Kenzaki Kori's words. He glanced at the girl in the sky again and told himself that he must figure out her identity. Otherwise, with such a terrifying power hidden in the dark, as long as she casually interferes with the current state of the world, it will cause a lot of trouble. Just now, Tsuchimikado Motoharu also saw that arrow that seemed to be able to shatter the sky, and at this moment, there was a new movement in the sky. Archangel Godpower didn't say anything about her doomsday technique being destroyed, but angels don't have any other surnames, but Archangel Godpower's current body is a lowly, so she's using her, is clearly focused on Wu Yan. A strange light flashed in her eyes, but it was as colorless as stagnant water. The Archangel stared at Wu Yan expressionlessly and suddenly raised the strangely shaped weapon in her hand. For the emotionless archangel divinity, there is no need for formalities. Anyone who tries to stop her from returning to her lord is a heretic that should be eradicated. Who knows how the archangel divinity moved? The ice wings on her back suddenly shook and ripples appeared in the air. Countless icicles shot out from her wings. The target is Wu Yan. Wu Yan's expression changed. His fingers moved slightly and his body suddenly floated away like a green leaf in the wind. If you look closely, you will notice a layer of fine iron particles that can only be seen when standing directly in front of Wu Yan rolled into a liquid and gently floated around Wu Yan's hands and feet. Wu Yan only slightly modified some of the original calculation formulas to control the fine iron particles to support his body and achieve flight. This was the inspiration he got from the battle with Accelerator, where he controlled the iron particles into a ball to empty himself. Wu Yan didn't need much computing power to achieve this goal. With a light push of the formula in his mind, the fine iron particles around his hands and feet became like his own hands and feet, carrying him around in the air. It's as if he's really flying. Let's do it. Kenzaki Kaori placed one hand on her seven heavens' seven blades and said to Kamiju Toma, Kamiju Soya, and Tsuchimikado Motoharu. You guys, go destroy the ritual site of Angel Fall. Kamiju Toma was taken aback and quickly shouted to Kenzaki Kaori. What about you? Kenzaki Kaori looked up at the sky and saw Wu Yan dodging in a sorry state. I'll stay here and hold back the archangel divinity. You want to fight against an angel? Kamiju Toma was shocked. Even if he did not know anything about magic, he at least knew that those angels are not something humans can fight against. Kamiju Toma did not know that in some aspects, a sage with the stigmata can fight against an angel. But Kenzaki Kaori did not plan to use the stigmata. She looked at Wu Yan, who was dodging the archangel divinity's attack, and smiled lightly. Don't worry, with my ability and that mysterious strong person, we should be able to hold back the archangel divinity. But, when Kamiju Toma was still a little hesitant, Tsuchimikado Motoharu suddenly pulled his hand and smiled at him. Don't worry, Meow. Big sister is very strong, Meow. We also have things to do, Meow. Hearing Tsuchimikado Motoharu's words, Kamiju Toma gritted his teeth and nodded. He followed Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Kamiju Katsuya to his home. That was the site of the Angel Falls ceremony. Kenzaki Kaori looked at their backs as they left. I'll leave it to you guys. Unfortunately, Kenzaki Kaori did not know that there was another group of people who were preparing to demolish Kamiju Toma's house. The endless ice pillars were like raindrops on a rainy day. The ice pillars mercilessly pierced Wu Yan's body. As long as one is pierced, that delicate body of Jusama will come to an end. Wu Yan could only rely on his newly developed flying ability to escape in the sky. After a while, he was already panting heavily. He wanted to fight back, but the powerful bullet screen made it so that if he moved, one or two icicles would appear in front of him. He didn't even have the time to raise his meteor shower. The only thing Wu Yan can use to fight against the Archangel is Meteor Shower. The other skills like Kendo Mastery and Electromaster LV5 are all useless against someone of a higher tier than him. Challenging someone of a higher tier than him would be suicidal. Now, just dodging the attacks of Archangel God's Might is already a bit too much for Wu Yan. This Archangel God's Might is really strong. A simple ice pillar attack is already so strong. If she uses those angel techniques, on the other side, Archangel God's Might seems to want to end this quickly. Her eyes suddenly lit up and countless water tornadoes appeared on the surface of the sea. With a whoosh, they shot towards Wu Yan like water dragons. The distance between the two was only a short dozen meters. With the strength of both sides, such a distance could be covered in almost an instant. In a few breaths, the water tornadoes had already rushed in front of Wu Yan. Facing such a powerful attack, Wu Yan did not dare to take it head-on. His body flashed with electricity, and the iron sand around him swept away Wu Yan. When Wu Yan retreated, a thick layer of ice formed on the surface of the water tornadoes. All the water tornadoes turned into huge ice pillars in an instant. They directly passed through Wu Yan's previous position and fiercely collided with Wu Yan's body. Wu Yan's expression changed again and again. the speed of the water tornadoes was already quite fast. After turning into huge ice pillars, their speed did not decrease but instead increased. With a strong whistling sound, they rushed towards Wu Yan, who could not react in time. Wu Yan gritted his teeth and secretly apologized to Shokuhu Masaki in his heart. Then, he raised Meteor Shower in his hand, as if he was planning to exchange injury for injury. At this moment, a sword light suddenly slashed across the ground and arrived in front of Wu Yan, shattering all the huge ice pillars that came towards him. Chapter 244. The ice pillar and the sword light cancelled each other out, saving Wu Yan, who was about to take the hit. Wu Yan let out a sigh of relief. At the same time, he felt a little more confident. She's finally going to make a move. Xianxia Kori pointed the 7 heavens 7 blades at the Archangel's divine power. Her face was serious, but her mouth was sneering. As a member of the Cross sect, I never thought I would one day make a move against an angel of the Cross sect. Soulcrack Kori's face turned serious as she stared at Archangel God's might. Of the Church of Necessary Evil, Soulcrack Kori, magic name, Salvara 000, lending a helping hand to those who can't be saved, Soulcrack Kori swung Soulcrack Kori's might with a wave of her sword. The air around the blade was rolled into a shockwave and swept towards Archangel God's might. By mentioning the name of the spell, it meant that Soulcrack Fireweave had decided to take down the Archangel power of God as an existence that must be defeated. It also meant that she was going to go all out. However, Soulcrack Kori still didn't plan on using the stigmata. That's to be expected. Even though she could contend against Archangel God's might after using the stigmata, as a human, using the stigmata from a son of God's might would cause her body to crumble easily. Of course, even without the stigmata, Soulcrack Kori was still very strong. With her as the main attacker and Wu Yan assisting from the side, it's not impossible to go against Archangel God's might. Wu Yan immediately floated away and aimed Meteor Shower at Archangel God's might. Soulcrack Kori seemed to understand and leaped forward. Soulcrack Kori swung Soulcrack Kori's might with Soulcrack Kori's might. Instantly, a sharp sound rang in the air. Several sharp blades that could cut a normal person into pieces followed behind the shockwave and attacked Archangel God's might. 7 flashes, the shockwave tore through the air, its power enough to injure a peak class 7 powerhouse. However, the Archangel didn't even bat an eyelid. The ice wings on her back unfurled, and a huge ice spike shot out, blocking the Archangel's path. The air wave and 7 flashes hit the ice spike and cut it into pieces. However, they were also blocked by the ice spike at the same time. The Archangel of God didn't even look at Soulcrack Kori, who was attacking her. Instead, she looked directly at Wu Yan and waved her ice wings. The ice wings turned into sharp ice spears and pierced towards Wu Yan, who was about to draw his bow. This also meant that the Archangel was afraid of Wu Yan's meteor shower. Faced with the incoming ice spear, Wu Yan could only helplessly give up on attacking and float away. As for the other ice spear, it followed after the first ice spear was dodged and suddenly attacked. Not only that, countless ice spears were also coming towards Wu Yan from behind. Seeing the ice spear in front of him, Wu Yan smashed his bow against the ice spear and pushed upwards. His body instantly accelerated and moved away from the attack. The Archangel of God looked at Wu Yan expressionlessly. The ice spear was like a moving spider's leg, turning in the air and continuing to stab towards Wu Yan. It seemed to want to destroy him first. 7 flashes, seeing the Archangel's divine power ignore her, Soulcrack Kori seemed to be a little angry. She sheathed her 7 heavens 7 swords, and with a flip of the scabbard, she shattered all the ice spears with a sharp screech. After losing the ice spears formed from the ice wings, the Archangel of God immediately touched the surface of the sea, and a waterspout attacked again. But this time, the target was not Wu Yan or Soulcrack Kori, but the Archangel of God herself. The waterspout directly hit the Archangel of God's back and gradually turned into ice. The ice spread out, and a pair of ice wings suddenly appeared behind the Archangel of God's back. While the Archangel of God was condensing the ice wings, Wu Yan's eyes turned sharp. Taking a beating was not in his character. He was not a masochist. Since he did not have time to use Meteor Shower, he had to use other moves. In his mind, all the computing power suddenly surged wildly. A burst of crazy beep 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 sound appeared on Wu Yan's surface, accompanied by a crazy flow of blue and white electricity. At the same time, countless black clouds suddenly appeared in the originally boundless night sky, covering the night sky. A storm-like silence filled the entire scene, making it seem like the crater of a volcano before an eruption. It was extremely solemn. A burst of lightning flashed and thunder rumbled within the layers of dark clouds. The blue-white lightning seemed to have a life of its own. It was like a giant dragon, rolling within the clouds. Soulcrack Corey's face shook. This isn't magic, this is a superpower. Soulcrack Corey abruptly turned her head to look at Wu Yan in the sky, bathed in lightning and thunder. Her eyes turned cold. It's her. She's from Academy City. After figuring out that Wu Yan was from the science faction, Soulcrack Corey did not relax. Instead, her heart sank. The relationship between science and magic is not that good. With Wu Yan's current strength, Soulcrack Corey had no choice but to take him seriously. Without using the sacred mark, Soulcrack Corey felt that it would be very difficult for her to defeat him. On top of that, he had a terrifying bow. This thought flashed through Soulcrack Corey's mind before she buried it deep in her heart. Now is not the time to think about these things. Dealing with Archangel God's might is the most important thing right now. Suddenly, Wu Yan closed his eyes, then abruptly opened them. A violent aura suddenly came from the clouds, causing Soulcrack Corey to stop her 7 heavens 7 blades. Like a giant dragon rolling in the clouds, the lightning gathered above Archangel God's might. In the blink of an eye, all the lightning condensed into a white lightning ball. A real lightning strike, Wu Yan yelled, and he pointed at the white ball of lightning above the archangel. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic bolt of lightning came crashing down from the sky. In less than 1,000th of a second, the bolt of lightning struck the archangel. Kaboom! The lightning struck Archangel God's might. It wasn't until Archangel God's might was wrapped in lightning that the loud sound of thunder could be heard. What a powerful strike! Soulcrack Corey clenched her 7 heavens 7 blades in her hand and muttered something only she could hear. It's much stronger than 7 flashes. It's comparable to solitary flash in terms of speed and power. If only the time it took to condense the attack was a little shorter. Did it work? Wu Yan panted slightly as he looked at Archangel God's might wrapped in lightning. His eyes showed a trace of exhaustion. True lightning strike is the strongest move in Electrocaster LVL5. It's even stronger than railgun. Even with Wu Yan's strength, using this move still gave him a headache. At a certain point, Wu Yan looked at the location where the lightning flashed. His expression changed and he felt helpless. Sure enough, it's not that easy. Archangel God's might was still there, expressionless. Her body was unharmed except for the tattered ice wings on her back. This told Wu Yan that Archangel God's might was fine. Because of this, Archangel God's might tilted her head like a puppet. Wu Yan bitterly smiled. This is probably what they call an angel, a puppet of God. The Archangel's eyes flickered a little. She leaned to the side, and the ice wings on her back flapped in the air. A circle of light swayed out from the ice wings. Archangel God's might pointed at it and a familiar giant magic circle appeared once again, covering the entire sky. Armageddon. Wu Yan and Soulcrack Corey were shocked. Archangel God's might was not going to waste any more time. The magic circle in the sky glowed with an icy blue light. The familiar aura was once again emitted from it. But halfway through, an explosion came from afar. Following that, Armageddon and Archangel God's might gradually disappeared under Wu Yan and Soulcrack Corey's stunned expression. Chapter 245. In the eyes of the two, the Armageddon magic formation in the sky is slowly fading away. The dark night sky is also slowly disappearing along with the Armageddon magic formation, revealing the color of dusk. Archangel God's might, along with the disappearance of the Armageddon magic formation and the night sky, the ice wings on her back crumbled and turned into ice shards on the ground. Archangel God's might herself, as if she's in a painting, is slowly being erased, until she completely disappears. Wu Yan and Kanzaki Kaori, one in the air and the other on the ground, both of them let out a sigh of relief when they saw Dusk and the Archangel's godly power vanish from sight. At this moment, Wu Yan and Xianxia Kaori's body suddenly flashed with a layer of color. As the color flashed, Wu Yan's body that belonged to Shokuhu Misaki also began to disappear, returning to his original state. On the ground, Xianxia Kaori also looked at her body in surprise, seemingly happy that her body has returned to its original state. Wu Yan couldn't help but scratch his face in confusion. Divine Rend Fireweave seemed to have been affected by Angel Fall as well. That's why she turned into that Shota uncle stare. So it's only natural that Xianxia Kaori would be happy when Angel Fall is removed. However, in Wu Yan's eyes, Xianxia Kaori has always been like this, not changing at all. That's why he wasn't as happy as Xianxia Kaori was. Of course, to Wu Yan, Xianxia Kaori didn't change much. But to Xianxia Kaori, Wu Yan has changed a lot. A peerless beauty suddenly turned into a stinky man. Isn't this a big change? Xianxia Kaori looked at Wu Yan, who was floating in the air, carefully sizing him up. It's like she's trying to imprint Wu Yan's appearance into her mind. Xianxia Kaori pondered for a moment before taking a few steps forward to speak to Wu Yan. Thank you for your help. Wu Yan nodded. He turned around and without another word, he flew off in a different direction. Wait. Xianxia Kaori reached out a hand to stop Wu Yan, but Wu Yan's figure has already turned into a black dot and disappeared into the horizon. Xianxia Kaori stared blankly at the direction Wu Yan disappeared, thousands of questions in her mind. But Wu Yan's gone, she can only bury these questions deep in her heart. Big sis. Xianxia Kaori. Two voices interrupted the beautiful scene of Xianxia Kaori looking up at the sky. She engraved Wu Yan's appearance in her mind before turning around. Tsuchimikado Motoharu looked at the dusk sky, his eyes flashing under his sunglasses. He asked Xianxia Kaori. Did the divine power return? Xianxia Kaori nodded and looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Kamiju Toma in confusion. How did you guys get back so quickly? If I recall correctly, the Angel Fall ceremony isn't that far away, right? Hearing this, Tsukimike's Motoharu and Kamiju Dangma looked at each other, and then Kamiju Dangma said, we haven't even reached the ritual site, and the magic formation in the sky has already disappeared. What? Xianxia Kaori was shocked. Tsuchimikado Motoharu shrugged and smiled. It's true, meow. Then, who destroyed the ritual site and stopped the angel fall? Xianxia Kaori frowned and looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Kamiju Toma. We want to know too, meow. Tsukimike's Motoharu pushed up his sunglasses and said in a strange tone, knowing about Angel Fall and knowing the location of the ritual before us, I'm curious who has the ability to do this, meow. Well, it doesn't matter, as long as you guys are fine, that's the best. Kamiju Toma called out in satisfaction. Kamiju Toma nodded with a smile on his face, agreeing with him. These two poor people still don't know that their home has turned into dust, leaving only a piece of land. Speaking of which, meow, big sis. Tsuchimikado Motoharu looked at Xianxia Kaori and asked her. Where's that mysterious person? Xianxia Kaori sighed and said helplessly. He left, is that so, meow? Tsuchimikado Motoharu touched his chin and asked. Did you see that mysterious person's appearance? Xianxia Kaori nodded slightly and described Wu Yan's appearance to Tsuchimikado Motoharu. Tsuchimikado Motoharu pondered, trying to find memories of Wu Yan in his mind. Suddenly, a figure flashed in Tsuchimikado Motoharu's mind, making him slightly surprised. Big sis, are you sure that mysterious person has black hair and red eyes? Looking at Tsuchimikado Motoharu, who suddenly became excited, Xianxia Kaori was surprised. You know him? Tsuchimikado Motoharu bitterly smiled and shrugged his shoulders. Should be considered as knowing him, I've only seen him once, if he's really the person I'm thinking of. Tsukimike's Motoharu returned to his usual carefree self. With his hands on his hips, he smiled and said, well, if it really is him, then it's not surprising that he can do this, meow. Hearing this, Shinja Kaori looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu with interest. Everything about Wu Yan is so mysterious and so powerful, Shinja Kaori couldn't suppress her curiosity. Who is he? I saw him use a scientific ability. Is he really someone from Academy City? Tsuchimikado Motoharu scratched his face and helplessly said. Actually, I'm not sure about his background, Miao. I only know that his name is Wu Yan, according to the records in Academy City's library. He's a LV0 powerless Miao. LV0? Shinja Kaori shook her head without hesitation. Impossible. He's very strong, even compared to steel, he's much stronger. Also, I saw him use a very powerful lightning attack with my own eyes. There's no way he's LV0. Lightning attack? Tsuchimikado Motoharu nodded this time. Then, this mysterious person should be that Wu Yan Miao, but, didn't you say he's LV0? Kamiju Toma couldn't help but ask. Could it be that he's LV0 like himself but has an inexplicable ability? I already said Miao, that's the record in Academy City's database Miao. Tsuchimikado Motoharu looked at Shinja Kaori and said in a deep voice. Big sis, remember what I'm about to say and report it to the highest bishop. Seeing Tsuchimikado Motoharu's serious expression, Shinja Kaori's face turned serious and firmly nodded. Seeing this, Tsuchimikado Motoharu said. That person, although I don't have any specific information, but if I'm not mistaken, he has the ability to rival the chairman of Academy City, Alistair, or even the entire Academy City. Even though she was prepared, Shinja Kaori's body still trembled. Is this possible? If he can rival Academy City, doesn't that mean he can rival the Church of Necessary Evil? That's why I'm not sure. That person's identity is very mysterious, no, too mysterious. Tsuchimikado Motoharu raised his face as if he was recalling something. He was able to hide from that person and hide his identity in Academy City. Just this alone is already not simple. I haven't been in contact with him for a long time, but he has a trump card that isn't weaker than that person. This is something that I can be sure of. I can see that even that person can only be compared to him and can't suppress him, is that so? Kenzaki Kaori lowered her head and said in a troubled tone. So, Academy City and that mysterious guy called Wu Yan have already formed an alliance? Then Don't worry about that, Miao. Tsuchimikado Motoharu waved his hand without care. At least for now, these two existences have no intention of joining forces, Miao. Well, big sis, tell the highest bishop, she'll make the decision, Miao. Shinja Huiji nodded and looked at the sky again, as if she was recalling the figure that had disappeared. Wu Yan, huh? I owe you one. Chapter 246. The conversation between Kenzaki Kaori and Tsuchimikado Motoharu didn't reach Wu Yan's ears as he flew towards Academy City. He also didn't know that the magic faction had already listed him as a major faction on par with them. If he knew, Wu Yan would be flabbergasted. To be able to pretend to be mysterious with such a background, no wonder he's a transmigrator. He even needs to pretend a bit. Even though Wu Yan didn't come from a major faction, he wasn't that bad compared to them. Even though there were only 5 of them, Chuju was a tier 7, equivalent to a LV5 in Academy City. Wu Yan was also a tier 7, and after the battle with the power of God, Wu Yan leveled up to level 67. Even though the power of God disappeared due to the destruction of the Angel Fall ritual site, Wu Yan gained experience from the battle with the power of God. The battle with the power of God was recognized by the system as Wu Yan leveled up. Even Kaishu-sama gained experience and leveled up to level 64. Wu Yan might be a tier 7, but with the true ancestor's bloodline and meteor shower, he could even hold his own against a tier 8. If his opponent was careless and got hit by his arrow, he might even be able to turn the tables. As for the remaining 3, Mikoto also gained experience from the power of God and leveled up to level 71. Astria was at level 76, and Ikaros was at level 78. The battle with the power of God gave Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria a level up. This wasn't surprising, Astria had accumulated a lot of experience. Accelerator was a tier 8, the power of God, and the scattered experience from before. It wasn't surprising that she leveled up. Not to mention Ikaros. Ever since she was summoned, she had been accumulating EXP. She had accumulated a lot of EXP during the treasure hunt, and with the help of 3 tier 8 powerhouses, as well as the EXP of several powerhouses in Academy City, she only managed to level up by 1 level after much difficulty. Level didn't necessarily represent strength. Wu Yan was only level 67, but he still managed to fight 2 rounds with the power of God with Meteor Shower. Ikaros and Astria had powerful armaments. They were definitely at the peak of tier 8. Even without that, 2 7th tier and 3 8th tier were enough to attract the attention of the big shots of the magic faction. One had to know that in Academy City, only Accelerator and Alistair were able to attract the attention of the big shots of the magic faction. This didn't even include Iwas, who never appeared in front of Wu Yan. His actual strength was still unknown. Of course, Academy City itself was a factor as well. Since he didn't know what happened, he naturally wouldn't express his thoughts. However, it's impossible for him not to know that they all leveled up. This is enough to make him feel a lot better. Along the way, Wu Yan flew into Academy City and came back much faster than when he went out. This made Wu Yan sigh at Jusama's frail body. If he was in his own body when he went in, he would have been able to fly all the way to the end. With the EMP barrier in place, he's not afraid of being caught by the surveillance cameras in Academy City, breaking the traffic rules and flying towards home. However, when he caught sight of a figure below him, he stopped. She had a shoulder-length brown bob hairstyle, a petite figure and face, and 2 slender beautiful legs that seemed to be exposed intentionally or unintentionally, swaying back and forth. She was a girl who had the habit of adding the word super in her speech to emphasize the tone of her voice. Right now, the girl was swaying her slender legs as she walked into a small alley. Her face was covered by a hoodie, her expression couldn't be seen, but she seemed to be mumbling something. Wu Yan looked at this petite but alluring girl with interest. He rubbed his chin and flew towards her. He landed behind her. As a member of Academy City's Black Ops, how could she not be vigilant in a place like this? Feeling someone approaching her, she turned around and saw Wu Yan standing behind her with a smile on his face. "It's super you." The girl was taken aback. Her face, which was originally calm, suddenly changed as if she had seen a dreadful beast. Without hesitation, she turned around and ran away. Wu Yan predicted her movement. He grabbed the petite girl into his arms and teased. "Yo, Kinohada girl, long time no see. Why are you running away the moment you see me? Super, let go of me. You super pervert." Kinohada Sai struggled with all her might. However, Wu Yan, who had evolved into a true ancestor, wouldn't lose to a girl in terms of physical strength. He ignored her weak resistance. Kinohada Sai forgot to use her ability. Who knows if she really forgot or she didn't use it subconsciously. In any case, she's only struggling to please Wu Yan while she's in his embrace. Oh? Is this how a little girl greets a friend you haven't seen in a long time? You're the little girl. Super little girl. Who's your super friend? You super pervert. Kinohada Sai was very unhappy with Wu Yan calling her a little girl. After all, as a girl, she would want to be more mature and prettier. Being called a little girl was an insult to the self-proclaimed charming Kinohada Sai. Wu Yan raised an eyebrow when he heard Kinohada Sai say super. Yo, Kinohada girl, you're so arrogant. You seem to have forgotten the lesson from last time. Do you need me to remind you? After saying that, Wu Yan touched Kinohada Sai's seductive thigh. It made one wonder if he had such thoughts in mind before appearing in front of Kinohada Sai. The thigh that she was most proud of was suddenly touched by a warm hand. Kinohada Sai's struggling body instantly froze. Feeling the familiar shape of the hand that she had only experienced once, Kinohada Sai gave up resisting and put on a crying face. You really are a super pervert, Wu. The moment the word super pervert was said, Kinohada Sai felt the hand on her thigh tighten, causing her to cry out in shock and shut her mouth. Wu Yan kneaded Kinohada Sayai's thigh, feeling the smooth skin. "Little girl, change the word super pervert and I will let you go. How about it?" Originally, Wu Yan thought that Kinohada Sayai would be happy to change it after hearing his words. However, he forgot that the word little girl was a huge blow to Kinohada Sayai. "I am not a super little girl." Kinohada Sayai was furious. Enduring the pain from her thigh, she shouted at Wu Yan, "You still say you are not a super pervert? Where is your hand super placed?" "Oh." Wu Yan narrowed his eyes and gave Kinohada Sayai a smile that made her tremble in fear. "Me? Where is my hand? Can you please tell me?" As he spoke, Wu Yan's hand continued to move upwards. Very soon, it reached a position where Kinohada Sayai had no choice but to submit to him. Kinohada Sayai cried out in shock and started to struggle again. "Hurry up and super let go of me. Otherwise, I will scream." Although Wu Yan really wanted to say, "Scream all you want, no one will come and save you even if you break your throat," when he thought of how stupid he would sound if he said that, Wu Yan gave up on that thought. "Scream all you want, no one will come and save you even if you break your throat." Reality has proven that Wu Yan can be really stupid sometimes. Kinohada Sayai quickly shouted when she felt Wu Yan's hand on her thigh and it's about to reach into her panties. "I got it. I super got it. Hurry up and super stop." Kinohada Sayai wanted to cry but no tears came out. "The sky is not even dark yet and I am not walking at night. How did I meet this wolf?" Chapter 247. Lightly rubbing Kinohada Sayai's thighs, Wu Yan has to admit that Kinohada Sayai's most prided thighs have the right to be proud of them. Even though they aren't as slender as Ikaros, Astria, and Shokuhu Misaki's thighs, their smoothness is comparable to Mikoto and Chuji Mikoto's. To be able to maintain her thighs to such an extent at the age of 12, she even spent her days researching how to release the charm of her thighs, such as making them faintly discernible. This lowly's attractiveness has reached a whole new level. As the only person who has enjoyed this pair of thighs, Wu Yan can vouch for it with his own sister. Perhaps this is the reason why Wu Yan couldn't resist teasing Kinohada Sayai after not seeing her for a long time. Patting Kinohada Sayai's cheeks, Wu Yan lamented. "Why didn't you hold on a little longer? I thought I could play with you for a little longer." Hearing this, Kinohada Sayai gritted her teeth. She really wants to punch this shameless bastard away. However, the hand that is constantly moving between her lower abdomen and the base of her thighs made Kinohada Sayai give up on this tempting thought. "Hurry up and let go of me." Chuckling, Wu Yan retracted his hand and let go of Kinohada Sayai. The moment her feet touched the ground, Kinohada Sayai ran away with the fastest speed she has ever run in her life. She only stopped when she put a safe distance between her and Wu Yan. She looked at Wu Yan cautiously. Looking at Kinohada Sayai who ran 10 meters away, Wu Yan held his breath. "I say, don't you think it's hard for you to talk like this? I don't have that much to say to you." Due to the distance between them, Kinohada Sayai had to raise her voice. "Honestly speaking, it's a bit difficult." Even though Kinohada Sayai said that she had nothing else to say, she didn't leave immediately. Looking at the slightly arrogant Kinohada Sayai, Wu Yan rolled his eyes. Then, "Little girl, running to such a remote alley, are you planning to do something bad again?" "I'm not a super little girl." When the word little brat was mentioned, Kinohada Sayai couldn't help but grumble, as if she hadn't learned her lesson. "I won't do anything bad." "You won't do anything bad?" Wu Yan couldn't help but curl his lips. "Have you guys, never done anything bad?" Kinohada Sayai gulped and bit her lips as she glared at Wu Yan without saying a word. If she were to say that she had never done anything bad as a member of Item in Academy City, that would be bullsh*t. Even she herself wouldn't believe it. That super pervert probably hates girls who do bad things. This thought uncontrollably sprouted from Kinohada Sayai's heart. This was also the reason why Kinohada Sayai didn't say a word. She didn't know why, but the only person who had ever touched her body was the super pervert, who had fiercely touched her body. Kinohara Sai couldn't help but be concerned about her image in his heart. Kinohara Sai didn't know that for Wu Yan, who was familiar with all kinds of 2D girls, as long as the girl wasn't rotten to the core and beyond redemption, Wu Yan wouldn't hate her. Of course, that's only if she's a cute girl. Looking at the silent Kinohara Sai, Wu Yan had a feeling that if he continued to talk about this topic, it would lead to a bad ending, so he didn't bring it up. So, little girl, where are you planning to go now? It's almost dark and you're still running to an alley alone. Don't tell me you're planning to rob some hoodlums. I super told you not to call me super little girl. Kinohara Sai said frantically, but what she got in return was Wu Yan's casual reply. I got it, little girl, I got it, little girl. With a pa sound, a jing character appeared on Kinohara Sai's forehead. Looking at Wu Yan's infuriating face, Kinohara Sai resisted the urge to go berserk, turned around and walked away. Hey hey. Wu Yan was startled and quickly followed her. You still haven't told me what you're planning to do. I'm going to do bad things. Kinohara Sai said in a depressed tone. At the same time, she quickened her pace as if she didn't want to talk to Wu Yan anymore. Unfortunately, Kinohara Sai underestimated a certain someone's shamelessness and also underestimated his leg strength. One didn't want to be caught, so he kept increasing his speed, while the other followed behind as if nothing had happened, casually following behind the former. Compared to the former's running posture, the latter was obviously much more relaxed, as if he was taking a stroll, but he was still hanging behind the former. Soon, the scene of a man and a woman running after each other in the alley appeared in this empty space. Running towards a certain direction, Kinohara Sai's face was flushed red, not sure if it was due to lack of stamina or anger. She turned around and looked at Wu Yan, who looked like he was taking a stroll. Kinohara Sai's face collapsed. Stopping her footsteps, Kinohara Sai slowly turned around with a sad face and said dejectedly, "What are you super planning to do?" Wu Yan lightly smiled, crossed his arms in front of his chest and said, "Of course I want to know what you're planning to do." Hearing this, Kinohara Sai looked at Wu Yan in confusion. "Why do you want to know what I'm going to do?" Hearing Kinohara Sai's question, Wu Yan still had a smile on his face, but in his heart, he was a bit embarrassed. Of course, Wu Yan had a purpose for following Kinohara Sai so lazily. Dungeon World, Magic Catalog. Dungeon Mission, Rescue. Mission 1, Save 20,000 Misaka Sisters. Revive all the dead Misaka sisters and heal all the Misaka sisters who are still alive. Collect all 20,000 Misaka sisters and store them in the biocontainment device. Completed. Mission reward, equipment points, item points, ability points, summoning points, 100,000 each. Mission 2, defeat the strongest Esper in Academy City, accelerator, completed. Mission reward, randomly summon a character. Mission 3, seduce at least 3 characters in this dungeon world and make them willingly follow you out of this world. Mission reward, summon a character that fulfills the requirements of Mission 3 for free. This very loving Mission 3 is still clearly displayed in Wu Yan's system list. Seduce at least 3 characters in this dungeon world. This is a very loving mission. But, will girls come to you for you to seduce? The answer is of course not. That's right, in other words, Kinohara Sai has been targeted by Wu Yan. Back then, when Wu Yan received Mission 3, 2 people immediately appeared in Wu Yan's mind. The first one was Shokuhu Misaki. Queen Sama came to him on her own accord. How could Wu Yan not accept it? Although conquering Queen Sama is extremely difficult, after experiencing the ripples in the amusement park, Wu Yan already felt that the road ahead is much smoother. As for the second one, it was this very cute and seductive girl, Kinohara Sai. Other than Queen Sama, she also appeared in Wu Yan's mind for the first time. In item, other than Mujino Shizuri, Kinohara Sai, Takitsubu Riku, and Frenda were all taken advantage of by him. Naturally, Wu Yan thought of them the moment he received the Mission 3. Moreover, the Mission 3's targets just so happened to be these 3. This time, with the high difficulty level of the Mission 3, if he targets Kinohara Sai, Takitsubu Riku, and Frenda from item, then it should be much easier. After all, they were all taken advantage of by him. They should have some impression of him, whether good or bad. As long as they have an impression of him, he would have a way to clear them, right? Besides, they are also characters he likes. As for the fact that Kinohara Sai is 12 years old and Frenda is a standard infant, Wu Yan automatically ignored that fact. Chapter 248. Kinohara Sai suddenly had a bad premonition. She felt a chill down her spine as if a pair of glowing green eyes were staring at her from behind. Kinohara Sai started to look around suspiciously, trying to find the source of the ominous feeling. Kinohara Sai didn't know that the wolf eyes that were staring at her was actually the wolf standing in front of her. Wu Yan naturally wouldn't say something like, "I'm here to woo you," but he couldn't find a reason to do so, so he could only shrug helplessly. "So are you going to tell me or not?" Kinohara Sai narrowed her eyes as her gaze slowly turned vigilant. "Don't tell me you're here to pry for information." Wu Yan rolled his eyes. "Pry for information? What kind of information would I pry for?" Kinohara Sai snorted coldly as she placed her hands on her waist and said proudly, "As the super dark unit of Academy City, there are plenty of people who come here to pry for information." Upon hearing this, Wu Yan curled his lips in disdain, completely destroying Kinohara Sai's arrogance. "If I really wanted to pry for information, would I need to go through so much trouble? I could just go straight to her door and take down Mujino Shizuri. What kind of information can't I get?" Kinohara Sai's arrogance instantly disappeared. Wu Yan's words reminded her of the battle at the research facility. Their leader Mujino Shizuri was taken down by Wu Yan and the three of them became his toys. Kinohara Sai could only say with a wronged expression, "Don't underestimate Mujino, she's super strong, yes yes yes." Hearing Kinohara Sai's stubborn tone, Wu Yan replied nonchalantly. This caused Kinohara Sai to clench her fists tightly. Looking at Kinohara Sai's angry expression, Wu Yan scratched his face and said impatiently, "I say, if you really don't have anything else to do, why don't you come with me for a stroll?" This time, Kinohara Sai finally understood that the other party wasn't interested in her goal at all. His real goal was her. As soon as this thought popped up in her mind, Kinohara Sai's face turned pale and she turned around to run. Wu Yan was stunned. Looking at Kinohara Sai who suddenly ran away, he couldn't react in time. Why did this girl suddenly run away? Could it be that she really had something secret to do? Wu Yan, who didn't know that Kinohara Sai had already found out about his wild ambition, could only shrug his shoulders helplessly. He looked at Kinohara Sai who ran away with a playful look as if he's looking at an underpowered vehicle. With a light step, he appeared behind Kinohara Sai. "I say, little girl, why are you running again? You don't want me to know where you're going? You're the super little girl. Don't chase after me." Kinohara Sai shouted without turning her head. Then, she mustered all her strength and started running. Her face was filled with panic, just like a little loli being chased by a strange uncle. "If you stop, I won't chase after you. Get the hell away from me. You're a super pervert. Little girl, it seems like you're planning to let this brother chase after you. I already said that I'm not a super little girl. Are you going to stop or not?" "Super no." "No? Then you want me to catch you?" "Fine, I'll definitely catch you properly. Help. There's a super pervert." Kinohara Sai had just shouted for help when she noticed a pair of wine-red eyes appearing from the side of her face. This caused Kinohara Sai's soul to leave her body and she started running for her life. At this moment, Kinohara Sai noticed that Wu Yan's eyes had turned wine-red. Although she was a little confused as to why this super pervert's eyes turned so beautiful, this wasn't a reason for Kinohara Sai to stop running. If she stopped, her beautiful body would be licked by that wolf's saliva again. "I say, why are you running?" "Because a super pervert like you is chasing after me. If you don't run, I won't chase after you. Then super stop chasing after me." "Why are you so against me? I just want to invite you to watch a movie. Who the hell wants to watch a movie with you?" "A movie, a B-rated movie." When she heard the words B-rated movie, Kinohara Sai's feet stopped for a moment, but she immediately started running again with all her might. Although B-rated movies are very tempting to her, it's too dangerous to watch a B-rated movie with Wu Yan. Looking at Kinohara Sai running even faster, Wu Yan pursed his lips. His figure flashed, and this time, he didn't appear beside Kinohara Sai but right in front of her. In the next second, Kinohara Sai felt herself crashing into someone's embrace, and at the same time, that person hugged her. Feeling that familiar embrace, Kinohara Sai didn't even need to think to know who this person is. Kinohara Sai's face was filled with tears as she screamed in despair. Whoa, Mujino, to Kitsubu, Frienda, Kinohara, I'm going to become super impure. My super beautiful body, you're finally going to super take advantage of this super pervert. Woo. Hearing that, Wu Yan's forehead was filled with black lines. Looking at Kinohara Sai, who had given up on resisting, her eyes were tightly shut, her face was filled with nervousness, and her mouth was constantly screaming something. Wu Yan didn't hold back and slapped her butt. Ah! Super attack! Super attack is starting! Super attack is starting! Kinohara Sai was extremely nervous as she screamed in panic. This caused the black lines on Wu Yan's face to collapse. In the end, it turned into the word awkward. Little girl, I really don't know what you're thinking, but if it's possible, you should stop. Kinohara Sai didn't give up and started scratching again. However, her strength was slowly decreasing. She opened one of her eyes and met with Wu Yan's wine-red eyes. Kinohara Sai said meekly. Didn't you super want to eat me? Wu Yan's mouth twitched. Although he did want to eat this girl, he can guarantee that he didn't want to do it at this moment. Little girl, do you really want me to eat you that much? Wu Yan looked at Kinohara Sai from the corner of his eyes and pressed her delicate body into his embrace. If that's the case, then I don't mind. No. Super don't want to. Kinohara Sai shouted without hesitation. This caused Wu Yan to feel hurt in his heart. This Kinohara Sai seems to hate him a lot. Wu Yan didn't even think about how many times he and Kinohara Sai have met each other. Plus, the first time they met, he already did this to her. Any girl would subconsciously reject him, let alone have sex with him. Then, Kinohara girl, accompany me to watch a movie. Wu Yan looked at Kinohara Sai in his embrace with a smile. His hands even tightened as if he was saying, if you don't agree, I won't let go. One has to say, he's too shameless. No, super no. Kinohara Sai shook her head without hesitation. For a B-rated movie, it's weird that a girl would like to watch it. But to bring a guy along to watch it, that's even weirder. And to bring Wu Yan along, that's too dangerous. Kinohara Sai struggled for a bit but couldn't break free. Seeing Wu Yan's shameless look, Kinohara Sai could only whimper and surrender. Please super let me go. I really have something super important to do, I can't go. Oh. Wu Yan looked at Kinohara Sai with interest. What's the matter? Tell me. Kinohara Sai hesitated for a while before helplessly saying, Mujino gave a death order, everyone has to be super present today. Hearing Kinohara Sai's words, Wu Yan couldn't help but frown. Mujino Shizuri gave such an order? What is she trying to do? Mujino Shizuri wants to super challenge the second. No, she wants to super challenge the third place, dark matter. Huh? Wu Yan was stunned. Mujino Shizuri wants to challenge Kikin Taidaku? Kinohara Sai nodded. Seeing this, Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched, he couldn't stay calm. Chapter 249. Mujino Shizuri vs. Kikin Taidaku. It's not like it's never happened before. In the original work, Mujino Shizuri's Dark Ops fought against Kikin Taidaku's Dark Ops. Mujino Shizuri even went up against Kikin Taidaku. But the result was terrible. Kikin Taidaku's ability, Dark Matter, was a bit of a cheat. Mujino Shizuri's atomic collapse could not even touch Kikin Taidaku's Dark Matter, which allowed him to create new substances. In other words, Mujino Shizuri was crushed by Kikin Taidaku. Just how powerful was the Dark Matter? It was so strong that even Accelerator would be at a disadvantage if he wasn't careful. It was so strong that even Mikoto, who had reached the 8th tier, had to use her railgun to blast it away. Otherwise, electricity alone wouldn't be able to hurt Kikin Taitaku. Mujino Shizuri's atomic collapse is of the same type as Mikoto's ability. With Mujino Shizuri's current level, if she goes up against Kikin Taitaku, the result will be the same as in the original work. This Mujino Shizuri, what's wrong with her that she wants to challenge Kikin Taitaku? Wu Yen couldn't help but let go of Kinohara Sai and rubbed his forehead. Kinohara Sai tidied up her messy clothes. Hearing Wu Yan's words, Kinohara Sai was unhappy. How could Kinohara Sai not understand the meaning behind Wu Yan's words? He's obviously saying that Mujino Shizuri will definitely lose if she goes up against Kikin Taitaku. Don't underestimate Mujino. No matter what, Mujino is still ranked 4. Even if that Kikin Taitaku is 1 rank higher than Mujino, Mujino won't be that far behind. That's because you don't understand Kikin Taitaku. Wu Yen couldn't help but frown, and said to Kinohara Sai in a serious tone, to put it bluntly, among the 7 LV5 players in Academy City, aside from Accelerator and Mikoto, anyone who goes up against him will die. Hearing this, Kinohara Sai wanted to refute, but seeing Wu Yan's serious expression, Kinohara Sai hesitated and said with uncertainty, Is it that powerful? Wu Yan helplessly nodded and said, let's put it this way, you know about Accelerator, right? According to the tree diagram designer's calculations, if Accelerator goes all out, he can kill the old Mikoto within 185 moves. Impossible. Kinohara Sai jumped up. That super railgun, even in the past, was ranked 3rd. How could it be so weak? It's not that Mikoto is weak, but Accelerator is too strong. Wu Yen bitterly smiled and shook his head, and then he laughed. Of course, that was in the past. Now, Mikoto's strength has increased by quite a bit. Even if she can't win against Accelerator, she won't lose so badly. Kinohara Sai stared blankly at Wu Yen, as if she was shocked by Wu Yan's words. After a while, she squeezed out a sentence. This is also related to that super Accelerator. What does it have to do with that dark matter? That's the crux of the matter. Wu Yen sighed and looked at Kinohara Sai. You know, if Kikin Taitaku goes up against Accelerator, then he will definitely lose badly. Kinohara Sai let out a sigh of relief. However, Wu Yan's next words caused her to worry again. But, with the special properties of dark matter, even if he loses badly in the end, he will be able to force Accelerator into a disadvantageous position in the beginning. Say, do you think Mujino Shizuri can defeat Kikin Taitaku? If possible, please let me become his disciple. Kinohara Sai went silent. She looked at Wu Yen. Her eyes were filled with worry. Then, wouldn't it be dangerous for Mujino Shizuri to go up against him? Unless Mujino Shizuri goes up against Kikin Taitaku in her high exertion state, then maybe there's still a chance of winning. Wu Yen looked at the worried Kinohara Sai and nodded in admiration. This is the good thing about Kinohara Sai, even though she lives in the Academy City's Black Ops, where people eat people, she cares a lot about her companions, even if the companions she cares about don't care about her at all. High exertion. Kinohara Sai went silent again. Wu Yen shrugged with a bitter smile. He understood why Kinohara Sai went silent. Mujino Shizuri's atomic collapse was actually very powerful. Just like light, electrons could adapt to different situations, displaying the properties of both particles and waves. It possessed the ability to forcefully manipulate the ambiguous situation between the two. What was directly emitted was neither waves nor particles, but the electron itself. Even if an electron that was fixed in an ambiguous state hit an object, it would stay on the spot because it could not decide whether it would be a particle or a waveform. Originally, the electron only had a mass that was infinitely close to zero, but the effect of the stay would become a pseudo-barrier, and the barrier would hit the target with terrifying power at the same speed as when it was released. Thus, due to the excessive power of this ability, it was very unstable and required a lot of fine-tuning and careful settings. Normally, Mujino Shizuri would control the power of her meltdown of atoms to a level that she could endure. This was the so-called low-output state. A researcher in a certain research institute in Academy City once said that if she didn't have her survival instincts restricting the output of atomic collapse, in other words, if she fully unleashed the power of atomic collapse to a high-exertion state, Mujino Shizuri would be able to instantly kill the third-ranked railgun. But in reality, if Mujino Shizuri really did that and completely removed her survival instincts restricting atomic collapse, then her own body would also be shattered by the reaction of the high-exertion state. In other words, if Mujino Shizuri went up against Kikin Taitaku with a low-exertion state, she would lose instantly, but with a high-exertion state, she would die instantly, and she might not even win. That Mujino Shizuri, why would she want to challenge Kikin Taitaku? Wu Yan couldn't help but pat his cheeks, feeling a headache coming on. Kinohara Sai told Wu Yan, Mujino used to hate Railgun a lot. She always thought that the reason Railgun was able to surpass her was because of Railgun's ability. In terms of military usage, Railgun was better than Mujino's. Plus, Railgun was a high school student, so Mujino hated her a lot. In the end, Kikin Taitaku was defeated by Railgun. Originally, the research institutes thought that the third and fourth ranked should be on par in terms of strength. But this time, the research institutes thought that Mujino's ability was weaker than Railgun's. Kinohara Sai couldn't help but laugh bitterly at this. That's why Mujino hated dark matter so much. She wanted to prove that she could also defeat dark matter, to prove that she wasn't weaker than the second-ranked Railgun. Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched, he suppressed the urge to curse and slumped his shoulders. He knew that Mujino Shizuri hated Mikoto, but he didn't expect her to hate Mikoto to this extent. Those trashy research institutes, did they take the wrong medicine to come up with such a conclusion? Aren't they just trying to lure the arrogant Mujino Shizuri to her death? What should I super do now? Kinohara Sai clenched her fist. Super tell Mujino not to go. But with Mujino's personality, she'll definitely super think that I'm looking down on her and kill me with a meltdown atom. I say, are you that worried about her? Wu Yan couldn't help but ask. It's not just because of Mujino. Kinohara Sai shook her head. Frenda and Takitsubu might be super dangerous as well. Mujino Shizuri, you're really something. Aren't you just trying to provoke this brother to make a move? Speechless helplessly. Dragging down the three girls he's already decided on. Mujino Shizuri. Wu Yan sighed and he said something that made Kinohara Sai flabbergasted. Looks like it's time to get rid of Kikin Taitaku. Chapter 250. In an empty alley, Mujino Shizuri, Takitsubu Riku, and Frenda are waiting for Kinohara Sai's arrival. They've been waiting for quite some time now. At this moment, Mujino Shizuri's face is starting to show signs of impatience. There's even a hint of anger in her eyes. Finally, she couldn't help but ask Frenda. Frenda, is Kinohara not here yet? Arara, this is so weird. Frenda is holding a phone and continuously dialing Kinohara Sai's number, but she didn't pick up every time. What's going on in the end? Kinohara has always been punctual, plus, Mujino already gave her a death order. Kinohara shouldn't have disobeyed Mujino's orders. Could something have happened? Takitsubu Riku resisted her exhaustion and raised her head to ask Mujino Shizuri and Frenda. The only thing she can think of is that something happened to Kinohara Sai. In a way, something did happen because at this time, Kinohara Sai is running for her life because of a certain wolf behind her. Hearing this, Mujino Shizuri felt that it made sense. She had been doing missions with Kinohara Sai almost every day. Mujino Shizuri understood Kinohara Sai very well. If it wasn't for something happening, she wouldn't have been late. Do we need to pick her up? Frenda raised her phone and asked Mujino. The four of them have GPS, they just need to track her down and they'll be able to find Kinohara Sai. Mujino Shizuri clicked her tongue and said impatiently. Forget it, with Kinohara's abilities, even if something happened, with her nitrogen armor, escaping shouldn't be a problem. Let's not wait for her, let's go. Frenda and Takitsubu Riku looked at each other helplessly. But they also know that once Mujino has made her decision, she won't be able to change it. Yes. Don't tell me you're super eager to deal with that dark matter? This was Konohata Sayai's first reaction when she heard Wu Yen say that it's time for him to leave. After seeing Wu Yen nod his head, Konohata Sayai couldn't help but ask. Don't tell me you're super crazy. Didn't you just say that the dark matter was super powerful? Indeed, Kikin Taidaku is very powerful. His wine-red eyes suddenly turned golden. Of course, it was only for an instant before the golden color disappeared. Even Konohata Sayai, who was right beside him, did not notice this change. Wu Yen smiled faintly. But I'm stronger than him. Wu Yen sounded very confident and resolute when he said this. If it was before, perhaps Wu Yen wouldn't have a 100% chance of winning against Kikin Taidaku's abnormal dark matter. In fact, the chances of him losing would be much higher. But now, Wu Yen, with his bloodline and new equipment, could even hold off an archangel, let alone a Kikin Taidaku. Therefore, Wu Yen was confident that he could kill Kikin Taidaku directly. Hearing Wu Yan's resolute words, Konohata Sayai was stunned for a moment before she frowned again. Indeed, since you can super defeat Mujino, it seems like you're also a super LV5. If you team up with Mujino Chao, you might be able to defeat Kikin Taidaku. Wu Yen smiled faintly and did not explain. He was secretly laughing in his heart, hoping that Konohata Sayai wouldn't be so shocked that her jaw would drop when the time comes. But Konohata Sayai suddenly changed her tone and looked at Wu Yen. Why do you super want to help us? Yeah. Why? Wu Yen pretended to be confused and touched his chin. He looked at Konohata Sayai's serious face and smiled. I have no choice. That Kikin Taidaku might hurt my sisters. If I don't help him, he might, your sisters? Konohata Sayai was stunned and widened her eyes at Wu Yen. She raised her finger and shouted at Wu Yen. Who are you calling your sisters? You super pervert. As expected, you're super pervert, you're super targeting the four of us. Hey, don't misunderstand. Wu Yen immediately shook his head and said righteously, not 4, it's 3. That Aunt Mujino who goes through menopause every day is not my cup of tea. You. Konohata Sayai pointed at Wu Yen with a trembling finger. She saw how righteous he was when he declared that he wanted to take in 3 sisters, and one of them was her. Konohata Sayai went crazy and shouted. They're not your super sisters. You super pervert. Don't even think about it. Aya, Konohata Sayai, don't be shy. You see, we've already done that kind of thing. Isn't it natural for them to become my sisters? Don't make it sound so flirtatious. I was just super hypnotized by you. Konohata Sayai didn't realize that she just said something outrageous and continued to criticize Wu Yen. Also, it's not us, it's you, you're super hypnotized. We didn't do it willingly. Ma, it's all the same, it's super hypnotized. Konohata Sayai felt that her throat was burning and she was panting heavily. One could imagine how excited she was just now. Wu Yen looked at the panting Konohata Sayai and suddenly reached out his hand. While Konohata Sayai was stunned, he lifted her chin and brought her lips closer to his. You. What are you super trying to do? Looking at the pair of charming wine-red eyes, Konohata Sayai panicked and shifted her eyes away. Her face was frozen because of Wu Yan's action. She wanted to break free from Wu Yan's hand, but she stopped because of Wu Yan's next sentence. Konohata Sayai, do you really want to stay in the dark ops and live a dark life? Konohata Sayai went silent. She didn't know how she should answer him. She could say she doesn't want to, but she's already used to living a life of darkness. If she said she wants to, she would feel a sense of helplessness that came from the depths of her heart. Thus, Konohata Sayai could only stay silent. Konohata Sayai's silence made Wu Yen sigh. While Konohata Sayai was silent, Wu Yen suddenly leaned forward and kissed her on the lips. The silent Konohata Sayai was stunned. By the time she reacted, a warm tongue had already reached into her mouth, grabbing onto her little tongue and entwining them together. Kinohata Sayai's eyes widened as she looked at Wu Yan's face that was magnified countless times. She panicked and started to whimper and hit Wu Yan's chest with all her might, trying to get him to let go of her. Wu Yan directly hugged Kinohata Sayai and started to rub her lips. Kinohata Sayai started to lose her strength, and the strength of her hands that were hitting Wu Yan's chest became weaker and weaker. In the end, she couldn't even kill a mosquito. Kinohata Sayai's eyes narrowed as she looked at Wu Yan kissing her lips. She slowly closed her eyes and wrapped her arms around Wu Yan's neck. She started to treat her first kiss seriously. Their tongues intertwined and their saliva passed. This is the first time she kissed someone, and it was such an intense kiss. Kinohata Sayai's heart started to beat faster and faster. Even her body started to heat up. Her breathing started to become difficult. That suffocating feeling made Kinohata Sayai feel a faint sense of happiness. Kinohata Sayai was at a loss as she felt this suffocating happiness. She didn't know what to do. After a long time, their lips parted. Looking at Kinohata Sayai, who was panting heavily, Wu Yan smiled. Kinohata Sayai, are you still going to reject me? I. Kinohata Sayai was gasping for breath. Even answering Wu Yan was a bit difficult. Seeing this, Wu Yan smiled and said domineeringly. Anyway, I want you, to Kitsubu Riku, and Frenda. I don't plan to let any of you go. After saying that, Wu Yan lowered his head and licked Kinohata Sayai's lips. He then pecked her lips a few more times before smiling. Well, it's okay if you don't know how to answer me. Wait until I find Takitsubu Riku and Frenda first. Chapter 251. While Wu Yan is trying his best on the girl in his arms, on the other side of the street, how is it? Takitsubu, have you found that person yet? Mujino Shizuri asked impatiently with her arms crossed. Due to the excessive flow of people on the street, the AIM force field of the aptitude users affected each other and cancelled each other out. In order to find the person Mujino Shizuri is looking for, Takitsubu Riku has expended too much of her energy. Her face is pale and sweat is dripping down her forehead. Her footsteps are weak and she looks like she will collapse at any moment. At this time, Takitsubu Riku has already consumed a body crystal. Frenda clenched her fists. Seeing Takitsubu Riku in such a state, her heart ached. Frenda may be a little timid and afraid of death, but she still cares a lot about her companions. In the original work, if Kikin Taitaku didn't threaten Frenda with her life, she wouldn't have betrayed him. Now, seeing Takitsubu Riku in pain, she wanted to stop her, but she was too afraid of Mujino Shizuri. Hence, she could only watch without moving. Mujino Shizuri could clearly see that Takitsubu Riku was expending all her energy and computing power to search for Kikin Taitaku. However, she didn't ask her to stop. Instead, she kept urging her. At some point, Takitsubu Riku's eyes trembled. She immediately turned to Mujino Shizuri and said with a trembling voice. Found him. Not far away, he doesn't seem to be moving. He stopped. After Takitsubu Riku found him, she immediately stopped using her ability. There was an unconcealable look of exhaustion on her face as she panted heavily. If one were to look closely, they would notice that her body was already a little weak. All right. Takitsubu, let's go now. Don't let him get away. Mujino Shizuri smiled. She didn't care if she can defeat Kikin Taitaku. In her heart, if that middle school student can defeat Kikin Taitaku, she can too. Hearing Mujino Shizuri's words, Takitsubu Riku revealed a smile, but it quickly disappeared. Even her smile was a little forced. One could imagine how weak Takitsubu Riku was at this moment. After Mujino Shizuri finished speaking, she walked briskly towards Kikin Taitaku's seat. She did not seem to have any intention of consoling Takitsubu Riku as she walked away. Seeing this, the two girls quickly followed behind her. However, after taking a few steps, Takitsubu Riku stumbled and half knelt on the ground. Takitsubu! Frenda exclaimed and quickly ran to Takitsubu Riku's side to support her. Are you alright? Takitsubu! Hearing this, Mujino Shizuri, who was walking in front, stopped and turned around. Seeing Takitsubo Riku's extremely weak state, she frowned and asked in annoyance, "What's wrong?" "I'm fine." Perhaps it was due to her mental exhaustion. Takitsubo Riku's reply was weak and feeble, which made Frenda a little worried. "Takitsubo, why don't you take a rest first?" Frenda asked hesitantly. At the same time, she secretly glanced at Mujino Shizuri, as if to ask for her opinion. Mujino Shizuri looked at Takitsubo Riku with furrowed brows. Even though Takitsubo Riku was of no help during the battle, she was indispensable during the pursuit. If Kikin Taidaku ran away again, how are they going to pursue him? Seeing Mujino Shizuri's silence, Frenda also fell silent. Takitsubo Riku took a deep breath and stood up from the ground. "I'm fine, we can continue." This time, Mujino Shizuri smiled. "Oh. That's good. If that's the case, let's continue the pursuit." Frenda and Takitsubo Riku could only nod in agreement. Passing through the crowd, under Takitsubo Riku's guidance, they crossed street after street. Finally, the three members of Item turned into a small street and arrived in front of a very large warehouse. After arriving at this place, they stopped in their tracks. At the same time, they focused their attention and looked ahead without moving an inch. A young man with an evil aura is leaning against the wall outside the warehouse. He has a half-smile on his face, but it's not hard to tell that he's not in a good mood. His eyes are filled with a faint evil aura, his brown pupils are looking at Mujino Shizuri, Takitsubo Riku, and Frenda. He doesn't seem surprised by their appearance, it's as if he's been waiting for them here. "It's Kikin Taidaku. Finally found me? Well then, members of Item, what business do you have with me?" Kikin Taida laughed evilly and said to Mujino Shizuri and the others. What he said surprised Mujino Shizuri and the others. "You knew that we were following you?" Mujino Shizuri raised an eyebrow. It's an elegant action, but it can't hide her anger at Kikin Taidaku's teasing attitude. Hearing Mujino Shizuri's question, Kikin Taidaku pursed his lips and looked at Takitsubo Riku. "When that little girl used her ability, I knew." Mujino Shizuri's expression froze, her eyes narrowed. Kikin Taidaku didn't even look at Mujino Shizuri, he continued to look at Takitsubo Riku. "Originally, I wanted to create a special particle to emit the same AIM field as me and lure you guys to another place. But I was curious why you guys were looking for me, so I stopped here and waited for you guys." "Why?" Mujino Shizuri smiled. Green light suddenly appeared around her. Green light orbs appeared around her. "Do you need me to explain?" Holding up an atomic collapse orb, Mujino Shizuri looked at Kikin Taidaku with a half-smile. "She seems to be laughing at his teasing just now." Kikin Taidaku laughed, he laughed very happily, but also very angrily. "You, the fourth member who couldn't even take down a hunter, even if all of you went out together?" "Ha ha ha ha." Kikin Taidaku laughed out loud as if he just discovered something very happy, he couldn't stop himself. "You bastard." Ever since her defeat against Wu Yan, Mujino Shizuri still felt like there was a thorn in her back. She felt very uncomfortable. Now that Kikin Taidaku pointed it out, the anger from her memories instantly swallowed her rationality. A blinding beam of light shot out from Mujino Shizuri's hand and hit Kikin Taidaku. Mujino Shizuri frowned. Even though it looks like she hit him, but how could Kikin Taidaku be defeated so easily? "This is your atomic collapse?" Kikin Taidaku's disdainful voice rang out. Mujino Shizuri's face turned serious as she looked up. A faint black gas appeared in front of Kikin Taidaku's chest, he stood there unharmed. "This." Mujino Shizuri stared at the unharmed Kikin Taidaku in disbelief. Frenda and Takitsubo Riku had the same expression on their faces. They had never seen anyone come out unscathed after being hit by Mujino Shizuri's meltdown atomic bomb. Kikin Taidaku patted his chest, and the black gas in front of his chest rippled. Kikin Taidaku curled his lips and said with disdain, "What's so strange about that? This layer of dark matter, no matter what it is, as long as it touches it, it will be broken down into the most basic atoms. At the same time, it will lose all its speed and most of its energy." Kikin Taidaku looked at Mujino Shizuri and laughed. If I remember correctly, your atomic collapse is the basic electrons, right? Mujino Shizuri was stunned. She didn't expect her atomic collapse to be countered so easily. Mujino Shizuri had an ominous premonition. She suddenly had a feeling that something bad was about to happen. Did I think too much of it? Chapter 252. Seeing Mujino Shizuri's stunned expression, Kikin Taidaku finally stopped laughing. A helpless smile appeared on his face as he shook his head and said disappointedly. Looks like you're very confident in your abilities. Otherwise, you wouldn't be like this after seeing your ability fail. Once your ability fails, you won't have any other tricks up your sleeves. Kikin Taidaku glanced at Mujino Shizuri. If you don't have any other tricks up your sleeves, then you're dead for sure. Kikin Taidaku smiled faintly and looked at Mujino Shizuri like she's a dead man. Mujino Shizuri finally recovered from her shock. She was furious when she saw Kikin Taidaku looking at her with disdain. She shouted, "Good. Very good. Since you want to die faster, I'll grant you your wish." Mujino Shizuri took out a crystal chip that looked like a rhombus from her pocket. It was none other than the diffusion support semiconductor. Almost instantly, Mujino Shizuri's meltdowner hit the diffusion support semiconductor. Countless meltdowners shot out from the disintegrated diffusion support semiconductor towards Kikin Taidaku. Kikin Taidaku had an evil smile on his face. He smiled at the incoming meltdowner atomic bomb as if he was welcoming a guest. He squinted his eyes lazily and leaned against the wall of the warehouse, ignoring the terrifying amount of meltdowner atomic bomb comments. A thick layer of dark elemental gas appeared in front of Kikin Taidaku and covered his entire body. Following the movement of the gas, countless meltdowns appeared and smashed into Kikin Taidaku's body. The meltdowners exploded continuously and buried Kikin Taidaku's body. The warehouse behind Kikin Taidaku started to distort severely. Several meltdowners shot out from the walls from time to time. Frenda and Takitsubu Riku ran away as fast as they could when Mujino Shizuri took out the diffusion support semiconductor. They stood there looking at the center of the explosion in fear. This isn't the first time they've seen this scene, but every time they see it, they're terrified. The battle only lasted for a short while. Even the time spent talking was longer than the actual battle. But this battle was destined from the start. It's not something people of their level can interfere with. With the help of the diffusion support semiconductor, the meltdowner atomic bomb fired randomly at Kikin Taidaku's position. Mujino Shizuri smiled when she saw Kikin Taidaku's figure buried in the center. But soon, her smile froze. Countless meltdowns hit Kikin Taidaku's body, but they all stopped in front of him. Then, they were all disintegrated by the layer of black gas, the dark elemental substance. Not a single one hit Kikin Taidaku. This. Mujino Shizuri stared blankly at Kikin Taidaku, who had a calm smile on his face. She couldn't believe that her own ability was so powerless in front of his dark matter. Frenda and Takitsubu Riku looked at each other in disbelief. After all, in their eyes, Mujino Shizuri was the epitome of invincibility. Ever since they formed item with Mujino Shizuri, they've never seen an enemy that could last more than 10 rounds against Mujino Shizuri. However, after that day, everything changed. The invincible Mujino Shizuri was defeated by a thief who stole a test subject by Wu Yan. From that day onwards, Mujino Shizuri's image in their hearts was reduced by half. On the day of the encirclement mission with the hounds, Mujino Shizuri was once again defeated by a strange woman. She didn't even have a chance to fight back. Mujino Shizuri's image in their hearts was reduced by half again. Could it be that Mujino Shizuri was going to fail again? This thought appeared in Frenda and Takitsubu Riku's mind. At the same time, they felt a deep sense of fear. Looking at the evil smile on Kikin Taidaku's face, Frenda and Takitsubu Riku didn't think that Kikin Taidaku, the leader of Academy City's Black Ops, would let them go like Wu Yan and Ikaros. In other words, if Mujino Shizuri loses this time, they're dead for sure. Kikin Taidaku looked at the stunned Mujino Shizuri and felt even more disdain in his heart. He slowly walked towards Mujino Shizuri. Kikin Taidaku's action made Mujino Shizuri's face twitch. Almost reflexively, Mujino Shizuri took a step back. Kikin Taidaku acted like he didn't see it and continued walking towards Mujino Shizuri. Every time Kikin Taidaku took a step forward, Mujino Shizuri would subconsciously take a step back. It's obvious that Mujino Shizuri is starting to feel fear towards Kikin Taidaku. Kikin Taidaku frowned and looked at Mujino Shizuri. Why are you taking a step back? Didn't you want to mess with me? Then stop wasting time. What other skills do you have? Hurry up and use them. Kikin Taidaku looked a little annoyed. In his mind, this kind of low-level battle is just a waste of his time. This is also the result of his personality of looking down on those below him. Damn it. Mujino Shizuri stopped in her tracks. She looked at Kikin Taidaku with anger and fear. She had to admit that Kikin Taidaku had guessed correctly. Due to her strong confidence in her abilities, Mujino Shizuri relied too much on her abilities. Now that her abilities have failed, she has no other options left. At this moment, due to the meltdown of atoms, the warehouse is burning with flames everywhere. The temperature is rising rapidly, making Mujino Shizuri feel her throat dry up. Feeling her emotions fluctuating, Mujino Shizuri clenched her fists tightly. Thinking about the recent failures, Mujino Shizuri almost went crazy. Am I going to fail again? Thinking of this, Mujino Shizuri screamed hysterically. Damn it. He's clearly only ranked 3rd before me. Kikin Taidaku stopped in his tracks. The smile on his face gradually disappeared. His expression sank, and his bangs covered his eyes. Following Kikin Taidaku's silence, a bloody aura started to spread in the air. Mujino Shizuri's body trembled and a horrified expression appeared on her face. A low voice that sounded like it came from hell crawled out from Kikin Taidaku's mouth. I have to say, Mujino Shizuri, you have angered me. What does Kikin Taidaku hate the most? In the past, it might be Accelerator Passage, but now, it's Misaka Mikoto. That day, he was defeated by Mikoto without any resistance. The layer of dark matter on his chest that can decompose anything was torn apart by Mikoto's railgun in the most violent way possible. At the same time, Kikin Taidaku's pride was shredded to pieces. Especially when he thought about how confident he was in the beginning, flapping his 6 wings and appearing in front of Misaka Mikoto. From his point of view, asking for something from Misaka Mikoto should be a piece of cake. However, Kikin Taidaku did not expect that he was wrong from the beginning, very wrong. What he thought would be a piece of cake in Misaka Mikoto's eyes, it was like a circus. When he thought about how he acted like a clown explaining his invincible ability, Kikin Taidaku almost went crazy. On top of that, his ranking dropped to 3rd place. Mujino Shizuri's words about being in 1st place completely ignited the hatred in Kikin Taidaku's heart. Chapter 253. When Kikin Taidaku raised his head again, the gloominess on his face was gone. However, Mujino Shizuri did not let her guard down. She could feel an even stronger aura in the air. Mujino Shizuri shrunk back, fear creeping into her heart. Frenda and Takitsubu Riku shared the same feeling. Suddenly, Kikin Taidaku raised his hand. The dark matter around him began to glow and swirl into his palm. Mujino Shizuri, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku all had different expressions on their faces. A floating black orb appeared in Kikin Taidaku's hand. Then, in an instant, it was fired in the direction of Mujino Shizuri. Mujino Shizuri felt a great sense of danger. Her mind went blank. Looking at the black ball of light that was filled with a destructive aura, Mujino Shizuri bit her lips in hatred. Without thinking, she simply threw away the diffusion support semiconductor in her hand and opened the collapsing atom electronic shield made of ambiguous wave particle state in front of her with all her strength. In the next second, the black orb exploded a meter in front of Mujino Shizuri. Asterisk boom asterisk an earth-shattering sound came from the center of the explosion. It was as if an atomic bomb had exploded. A rather powerful mushroom cloud slowly rose from the empty space of the warehouse. It was just that it was much smaller than an atomic bomb's mushroom cloud. Even though it is much smaller, it is still enough to cover the entire sky. Countless rocks were blown away and mixed within the mushroom cloud. The ground is already a mess. Closer to the warehouse, the loud sound was also heard by the people here. They all looked towards the source of the sound and saw a small mushroom cloud. Kikin Taidaku rode his 6 white wings and flew out from a corner of the mushroom cloud. He stopped in the air and looked inside the mushroom cloud with a cold smile. His eyes were like lightning as he looked inside the mushroom cloud. It was as if he could see what was going on inside the mushroom cloud. A gust of wind blew through the area and blew away the mushroom cloud. As the mushroom cloud dissipated, the scene on the ground fell into Kikin Taidaku's eyes. The ground was in a mess. Countless large and small craters littered the ground. Rocks and debris were scattered everywhere. At the center, in the largest crater, Mujino Shizuri was there. Not far away on the ground, Takitsubu Riku and Frenda are also covered in wounds. Their clothes are tattered and their faces are covered in dust. They're struggling to move on the ground. Mujino Shizuri coughed incessantly as the dust was sucked into her windpipe. Her clothes were in tatters, but compared to Takitsubu Riku and Frenda, she was in a much better state. Looking at Kikin Taidaku flying in the sky with absolute power, Mujino Shizuri's face was filled with fear. One hit. Just one hit. Her meltdown atom shield was destroyed in one hit. The shockwave from the explosion caused quite a bit of damage to her. Frenda and Takitsubu Riku were so far away, but they were also caught in the shockwave. They can't even stand up now. How is this possible? How is he so strong? Impossible. Mujino Shizuri shrunk back a little. Her heart kept repeating this sentence. Even her mouth was mumbling like a mosquito. It was as if she had lost her mind. Mujino Shizuri raised her head with difficulty to look at Kikin Taidaku in the sky. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. They were both LV5, how could he be so strong? Was the dark matter really that powerful? Misaka Mikoto. How did she defeat such a monster? Kikin Taidaku flapped his 6 pairs of wings and gently floated down from the sky. He landed in front of Mujino Shizuri, giving her a shock. Looking at Mujino Shizuri's cowering body, Kikin Taidaku narrowed his eyes and shook his head in disdain. That's it? How boring. Mujino Shizuri gritted her teeth and used Meltdown Atom's shield on Kikin Taidaku's body. However, it was quickly disintegrated by the layer of dark matter. Mujino Shizuri was stunned for a moment before she hysterically used Meltdown Atom's shield on Kikin Taidaku's body. However, without exception, all her attacks were disintegrated 10 centimeters away from Kikin Taidaku's body. Looking at the crazed Mujino Shizuri, the disdain in Kikin Taidaku's eyes slowly disappeared. He looked at Mujino Shizuri as if he was looking at a dead person. A beam of light shot out from Kikin Taidaku's wings and landed on Mujino Shizuri's body. After a loud bang, Mujino Shizuri was sent flying by the beam and landed on the ground. Her body was covered in wounds and traces of blood were all over her body. Kikin Taidaku walked in front of Mujino Shizuri and looked down at her who was struggling to get up from the ground. He chuckled. I really don't understand. With your abilities, why did you dare to come knocking on my door? Do you have a death wish? Mujino Shizuri was silent. It's not that she didn't want to speak, it's just that she can't speak anymore. It's as if all the bones in her body have fallen off. Her throat was filled with the thick taste of blood. Her eyes have lost all light and despair filled her heart. Kikin Taidaku clicked his tongue in annoyance and turned his head to look at Frenda and Takitsubu Riku. His lips curled into an evil grin. Seeing that you're also LV5, I'll let you live and kill you last. Kikin Taidaku laughed maniacally and turned to look at Frenda and Takitsubu Riku. I'll help you take care of your subordinates first. Frenda's face was filled with shock, fear, and the desire to live. She struggled to speak to Kikin Taitaku. Don't kill me. I don't want to die, oh? Kikin Taitaku looked at Frenda in surprise and laughed. Who knows what he was laughing about? He nodded as if he understood her and laughed. Surprisingly cowardly. Fine, I'll let you live too. After saying that, Kikin Taitaku glanced at Takitsubu Riku, bent down and grabbed her by the collar, pulling her up. Laughing maniacally, Kikin Taitaku said, if that's the case, I'll let you die first. Seeing that you were able to track me down, I wanted to let you live until the end. But your leader is a LV5, I can't let her die before you, right? Your teammates are begging for mercy, so I'll kill you first. Takitsubu Riko's tired eyes turned to Kikin Taitaku. Looking at his maniacal laughter, her eyes flickered. Memories of the past surfaced in Takitsubu Riko's mind. Takitsubu Riko realized that almost all of her memories were stored in item. Due to the negative effects of activating her ability, Takitsubu Riko spent most of her time sleeping. Other than sleeping, all she did was sleep. When she was still conscious, all of her memories were of her activating her ability and completing missions. Facing death, Takitsubu Riku went through the memories in her mind. Suddenly, she realized that her life had been so dull and boring. If I can live again, how great would that be? This time, I will definitely create my own memories. Suddenly, a scene appeared in her mind. It's different from those repetitive scenes. This time, there's a real change. It's not sleeping, it's no longer a mission, it's herself. She's lying in a man's arms, being groped all over her body. Die. Kikin Taitaku raised his hand with a sinister smile. But before he could raise his hand, it was grabbed by another hand. Let go of your filthy hands. Chapter 254. Let go of your filthy hands. A cold voice echoed in this eerily quiet place. Mujino Shizuri and Frenda who are lying on the ground are stunned. Kikin Taitaku who was laughing crazily also froze. A second after the voice sounded, a huge force was applied to Kikin Taitaku's hand. Intense pain was transmitted to Kikin Taitaku's mind. He subconsciously screamed in pain. Takitsubu Riku immediately opened her eyes. Her eyelids have been closed for most of her life. The speed at which she opened her eyes in the past was not as fast as this time. Therefore, Takitsubu Riku quickly saw the last image that appeared in her mind. It was a figure that looked exactly like the man in the movie. I told you to let go of your filthy hands. Didn't you hear me? As soon as he finished speaking, a fist enlarged in front of Kikin Taitaku's eyes. Before he could react, the fist landed on his face. Intense pain came from his face. This time Kikin Taitaku couldn't scream as he was sent flying. His hand that was holding onto Takitsubu Riku's collar loosened. A pair of hands pulled Takitsubu Riku's falling body into his embrace. When that unfamiliar yet familiar embrace embraced her body, Takitsubu Riku's heart skipped a beat. Looking at the face that she has only seen 3 times, she actually had the urge to cry. Takitsubu. Frenda. Kinohada Sai saw the scene of Kikin Taitaku being sent flying. She saw Frenda lying on the ground and Takitsubu Riku being held by Wu Yen. She saw their injuries and couldn't help but scream. Mujino. When the scene of Mujino Shizuri lying on the ground entered Kinohada Sai's eyes, Kinohada Sai was stunned. She then ran to Frenda and looked at her and Takitsubu Riku. Are you guys super okay? Kinohada Sai said worriedly to the two of them. She didn't expect that in the short time she was gone, her 3 companions would suffer such serious injuries. Kinohada. Frenda weakly called out to Kinohada Sai, but when she saw the person holding Takitsubu Riki and sending Kikin Taitaku flying with a single punch, she was shocked. It's you. What? Wu Yen looked at the shocked Frenda and said in an annoyed tone. Can't it be me? Why are you here? Frenda asked in a bewildered manner. After all, Wu Yen used to be their enemy. Kinohada, why are you with him? Before Kinohada Sai could say anything, Wu Yan hugged Takitsubo Riku even tighter. Looking at Takitsubo Riku, who was staring at him in a daze, he laughed. Of course I am here to save you guys. Save us? Frenda felt like her brain couldn't process what was happening. Why did you save us? In the end, aren't you our enemy? I'm your man. Wu Yan didn't hesitate to say this sentence that caused Frenda and Takitsubo Riku's brain to short-circuit. He then ignored the shocked Frenda and Takitsubo Riku and looked forward. It's you. The same sentence came out of Frenda's mouth with shock, but it came out of Kikin Taitaku's mouth with hatred. Covering his face, Kikin Taitaku stood up from the ground and looked at Wu Yan. His eyes were filled with both old and new grudges. The new grudge was naturally Wu Yan sending him flying with one punch. As for the old grudge, Kikin Taitaku knew that the man in front of him was Misaka Mikoto's man. Kikin Taitaku. Wu Yan said softly. At the same time, he shoved Takitsubo Riku into Kinohara Sayai's hands and stood up. If I remember correctly, you're the third man. Kikin Taitaku looked at Wu Yan with murderous intent. Whenever Mikoto was mentioned, he couldn't help but feel hatred. Hearing Kikin Taitaku's question, Wu Yan laughed. Third man? You seem to have remembered wrongly, I'm the second man now. Kikin Taitaku trembled. The murderous intent in his eyes was like a knife that cut into Wu Yan's body. Obviously, Wu Yan poked Kikin Taitaku's sore spot. Oi oi oi. Frenda yelled at Wu Yan in fear. Are you trying to provoke him or something? You're crazy. Even Mujino couldn't fight back against that guy. Even if you can raid Mujino, you're no match for that guy. Let's just run. Kinohara Sayai and Takitsubo Riku also looked at Wu Yan. Their eyes were filled with worry and fear. They seemed to be thinking of running away too. Wu Yan couldn't help but smile bitterly. Running on the ground is no match for flying in the sky. Besides, there's no need to run. Ignoring Kikin Taitaku's murderous intent, Wu Yan walked to Mujino Shizuri's side and looked at her struggling on the ground. You, once again, were harmed by your pride. Mujino Shizuri's pupils shrunk and a pained expression flashed through her eyes. She looked at Wu Yan while coughing. Are you here to make fun of me? If you succeed. Wu Yan shook his head. If I want to mock you, I'll have to wait until after this is over. After this is over? Mujino Shizuri smiled bitterly and looked at Kikin Taitaku. Her eyes dimmed. I don't even know if I can keep my life. I'll protect you. Wu Yan's words made Kikin Taitaku laugh. Kinohara Sayai, Takitsubo Riku, and Frenda were stunned. Mujino Shizuri's eyes lit up for a moment before dimming again. You don't understand. This dark matter is not just strong. Wu Yan waved his hand and asked. Just tell me, do you want to live or not? Yes. Mujino Shizuri answered without hesitation. Naturally, no one wants to die if they can live. Mujino Shizuri is the same. That's enough. Wu Yan glanced at Kikin Taitaku and said to Mujino Shizuri. I'll save you, but I want a reward. Mujino Shizuri turned to look at Wu Yan, as if signaling Wu Yan to state his conditions. Wu Yan smiled and looked at Kinohara Sayai, Takitsubo Riku, and Frenda. My reward is your 3 subordinates. Mujino Shizuri was stunned. Takitsubo Riku and Frenda were also stunned. Only Kinohara Sayai cursed silently and looked at Wu Yan without saying a word. How about it? Looking at the different expressions on the 3 girls, Wu Yan chuckled in a rather pleased manner. He then asked Mujino Shizuri with a smile. Mujino Shizuri's expression kept changing. She's not the type to care about her companions. Even if all of her companions died, she wouldn't shed a single tear or feel sad. However, with Kinohara Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubo Riku gone, if item doesn't disband, it will be reorganized. But when she saw Kikin Taitaku's figure, Mujino Shizuri's heart trembled. She looked at Wu Yan and said. As long as you can save my life, I have no objections, Mujino. Frenda was stunned. She couldn't believe that she was sold just like that. What followed was a wave of sadness. Frenda has done a lot of things in the past. She didn't expect that this time, it would be her turn to be sold. As for the other two girls, it's a completely different story. Kinohada Sai gnashed her teeth and looked at Wu Yan as if she wanted to take a bite out of him. Takitsubo Riku's eyes flashed with surprise. Can I follow him from now on? All of this, Wu Yan, who thought he only had half of Kinohada Sai, Takitsubo Riku, and Frenda, didn't know that his battle results have changed from half to 1.5. Now that Mujino Shizuri agreed, Wu Yan couldn't help but smile. His gaze towards Kikin Taidaku also gradually turned cold. In item, other than Aunt Mujino, who is having menopause and throwing tantrums every day, the other three are all his favorites. They're all his targets. When he saw Takitsubo Riku and Frenda's miserable state, Wu Yan had already decided to bestow Kikin Taidaku a glorious death. Chapter 255. Kikin Taidaku has been standing aside since the beginning, quietly waiting for Wu Yan and Mujino Shizuri to finish their conversation. He doesn't seem to care about anything. Only Kikin Taidaku himself knew how much of a storm was blowing in his heart. Kikin Taidaku has sworn more than once that he will make Misaka Mikoto, the woman who humiliated him and pulled him down from his pedestal, suffer a fate worse than death. However, every time Kikin Taidaku wanted to take revenge on Mikoto, the orange beam that shot through the sky would flash across his mind. The beam that killed him in an instant. That orange light was like a demon in Kikin Taidaku's heart. Whenever he thought of that orange light, Kikin Taidaku's hatred would vanish as if it had been struck by that orange light. In other words, Kikin Taidaku is afraid. At least, before he finds a way to counter that orange beam, Kikin Taidaku is destined to hide from Mikoto for the rest of his life. However, Wu Yan's appearance and his words have caused all the hatred in Kikin Taidaku's heart to erupt. He can't deal with the railgun, but can't he deal with her man? She wondered what kind of expression that third person would have on the face of the man who had killed her. It's obvious that Kikin Taidaku hasn't recovered from the fact that he was pulled down to the third person. He's imagining things as if he's trying to escape. After making up his mind, Kikin Taidaku no longer cared about Wu Yan's words. He calmly waited for Wu Yan and Mujino Shizuri to finish their conversation. Kikin Taidaku chuckled when Wu Yan turned around to look at him. Are you done with your work? If not, you can continue, I don't mind waiting. In Kikin Taidaku's heart, the man in front of him is only Misaka Mikoto's man. Nothing else is worth mentioning. Kikin Taidaku has investigated Wu Yan's identity before. Level 0, Powerless, Hooligan. If Wu Yan didn't have Misaka Mikoto as his backer, Kikin Taidaku wouldn't even bother to look at him. Kikin Taidaku thinks that killing Wu Yan is a piece of cake. However, Kikin Taidaku has already forgotten the last time he said that it was a piece of cake. Oh. Is that so? Wu Yan saw the nonchalance in Kikin Taidaku's eyes. He smiled faintly and said to Kikin Taidaku's astonished gaze. But I do mind. Wu Yan chuckled and tilted his head. He looked at Kikin Taidaku and said, I don't have that much time to waste with you. It's already dark and my wives are waiting for me for dinner. He's crazy. He's definitely crazy. Frenda pulled her beret tightly to cover her eyes, as if she couldn't bear to watch any longer. It was fine if he didn't want to escape, it was fine if he wanted to fight, but why was he courting death? Takitsubo Riku and Kinohada Sai looked at Wu Yan worriedly. Even Mujino Shizuri felt gloomy. She thought that Wu Yan will be chopped into pieces by Kikin Taidaku. Kikin Taidaku chuckled, but his eyes didn't have the slightest hint of a smile. Wu Yan's words didn't fail to infuriate him. You seem to be very confident in yourself. Why? Do you think the third Misaka Mikoto will come and save you? Wu Yan looked at Kikin Taidaku with a half-smile. Mujino Shizuri, Frenda, and Takitsubo Riku were shocked to see Wu Yan facing Kikin Taidaku was like. It was exactly the same as when Kikin Taidaku faced them in the first place. That's a sign that he doesn't put Kikin Taitaku in his eyes. Tapping his chin, Wu Yan shrugged. Mikoto isn't here. I'm the only one here. You don't have to be afraid. Afraid? Kikin Taitaku was so angry that he laughed. You said I'm afraid? You didn't hear wrong. Wu Yan took out a coin from his pocket. Kikin Taitaku's pupils shrunk as he held it in his hand. I did say that you're afraid. Am I wrong? The third. You're courting death. Kikin Taitaku said to Wu Yan with a gloomy expression. His eyes kept looking at the coin in Wu Yan's hand. There was a flash of fear in his eyes. That fear disappeared quickly, but Wu Yan still caught it. Wu Yan was slightly stunned. He looked at the coin in his hand and pondered for a while. Suddenly, he realized something. Wu Yan's wine-red eyes turned and he came up with a plan. Beep beep beep. A burst of blue-white electric light appeared on Wu Yan's body. The electric current screeched crazily and made a sharp sound like glass being scraped. The blue-white electric current filled Wu Yan's entire body. What? Kikin Taitaku was shocked. Looking at the electric current on Wu Yan's body, he shouted in shock, "This is impossible. Aren't you a powerless person? Could it be that you're hiding your abilities?" If Wu Yan was just a powerless person who hid his ability, Kikin Taitaku wouldn't be so shocked. However, the familiar blue-white electric current and the relationship between Wu Yan and that person made Kikin Taitaku shocked. Looking at Kikin Taitaku's shocked expression, Wu Yan was even more certain of his guess. He tossed the coin in his hand and smiled at Kikin Taitaku. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Kikin Taitaku's face was completely dark. Anger flashed in his eyes. Wu Yan's words made Kikin Taitaku forget about Wu Yan's ability. Kikin Taitaku snorted coldly, flapped his wings, and flew up into the sky. He laughed coldly and said, "Is it similar to the railgun? That's an electric power. No wonder the two of you are together, but..." Kikin Taitaku looked at Wu Yan and said with a fake smile, "You can't use the railgun." Wu Yan's eyes flashed with a strange light. He looked at Kikin Taitaku and didn't say anything. He raised his hand and the electric current on his body flowed towards the coin in Wu Yan's hand. Kikin Taitaku's pupils shrunk when he saw this familiar yet nightmarish scene. He pretended to be calm and told himself that this was impossible. However, what happened next made Kikin Taitaku's handsome face turn green. The coin in his hand glowed white as the electricity flowed through it. It turned into a tiny white dot. Wu Yan's wine-red eyes turned golden. Kinuhada Sai, Takitsubu Riku, Frenda, and Mujino Shizuri who were watching Wu Yan were stunned. Wu Yan's wine-red eyes were enough to make them suspicious. Now that they turned gold, it was extremely strange. As for Kikin Taitaku, when he saw the token in Wu Yan's hand, he couldn't help but shudder. A sense of dread crept into his heart. He screamed, "Oh no," in his mind. The next second, the railgun's orange beam shot towards Kikin Taitaku with lightning speed. Kikin Taitaku, Mujino Shizuri, Kinuhada Sai, Takitsubu Riku, and Frenda were all shocked. Super electromagnetic gun. Everyone exclaimed in unison. Instinctively, Kikin Taitaku waved his hand, and 3 layers of dark matter appeared in front of him. Then, he saw the railgun coming towards him, and he dodged to the side like his life depended on it. Wu Yan smiled. If Kikin Taitaku looked closely, he would notice that his railgun was nothing compared to Mikoto's railgun last time. His railgun was not enough to break through Kikin Taitaku's layer of dark matter, let alone 3 layers. There was no need for him to dodge. This proved that Kikin Taitaku was afraid of the railgun. Chapter 256. The railgun swept past Kikin Taitaku's original position, and he easily dodged it. However, Kikin Taitaku's face was still filled with shock. It was as if the beam that he easily dodged was some kind of terrifying thing. It was hard to understand. Kikin Taidaku didn't realize that the railgun was no match for Mikoto's railgun in terms of speed and power. He looked at Wu Yan and gritted his teeth. Why do you know how to use railgun? Isn't that Misaka Mikoto's skill? Wu Yan had a faint smile on his face the whole time. He looked at Kikin Taidaku, who is still in a state of shock. His eyes flashed with a playful glint. He waved his hand and he took out another coin and kept it in his hand. Who knows? You bastard. Kikin Taidaku slowly put away the shock on his face. Instead, it was replaced by anger. The 6 pairs of wings on his back spread out. Instantly, each of the wings glowed with white light. Following that, 6 pure white beams of light shot out from the 6 wings. These 6 pure white light beams were facing the 6 super railgun cannons that were already right in front of them. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect the railgun to be fired so easily. The railgun tore through the pure white light beams and headed straight for Kikin Taidaku. Kikin Taidaku looked at the 6 railguns and felt that they were not a threat to him. Still, he could not help but feel a little scared. In the end, Kikin Taidaku chose to dodge. With his wings, he was very agile in the air. Even though the railgun was 3 times the speed of sound, Kikin Taidaku still managed to dodge it. Seeing that Kikin Taidaku dodged his railgun, Wu Yan didn't care. He took out another coin and shot it at Kikin Taidaku. Wu Yan turned into a cannon and fired the railgun. Kikin Taidaku kept flapping his wings and dodging the railgun. Kikin Taidaku didn't realize that he was getting further and further away from the railgun as he dodged the railgun. Mujino Shizuri, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku were looking at Wu Yan numbly. They felt that something was off. The railgun can't do anything to Kikin Taidaku. Why is Wu Yan still wasting time and energy on useless things? Also, Kikin Taidaku was so strong just a moment ago. Why was he being pushed back by the railgun that wasn't much of a threat? Kikin Taidaku, on the other hand, started to feel that something was off. He realized that these railguns weren't as strong as the railgun Misaka Mikoto used. That's right. That's right. His eyes flickered. In the end, Kikin Taidaku didn't choose to take the railgun head-on. He flapped his wings and dodged the railgun while flying away from the ground. When Kikin Taidaku's body became a dot in the sky, Wu Yan smiled in satisfaction and stopped firing the railgun. Wu Yan extended his hands and his fingers started to glow with electricity. The electricity turned into electricity and under Wu Yan's control, it drilled into the ground. In the next second, small iron particles started to float up from the ground and wrapped around Wu Yan's limbs. Looking at Mujino Shizuri, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku, Wu Yan chuckled and said, "Wait here for a bit. It'll be over soon." Ignoring the reactions of the 4 girls, Wu Yan floated up from the ground and flew towards Kikin Taidaku like a rocket. Kikin Taidaku let out a sigh of relief when he realized that the railgun was no longer firing. However, before he could relax, a figure appeared in front of him like a cannonball. A familiar face appeared in front of him. Kikin Taidaku's expression changed. He didn't expect his opponent to be able to fly. A hand grabbed Kikin Taidaku's collar and threw him even higher into the sky. Kikin T2 was tumbling in the sky. His face was filled with anger. After all, he had been tricked by this guy who he didn't even put in his eyes. Kikin Taidaku steadied himself and spread his 6 wings. White light flashed and a beam of light shot out. Wu Yan's golden eyes narrowed and he leaped into the air like he's walking on solid ground. He left behind afterimages as he dodged the pure white beams. Then, he dashed towards Kikin Taidaku. The wings on his back flapped again. This time, it wasn't white light but black light. The black light spun around the wings and turned into a few black flames. They followed the beam of light and attacked Wu Yan. Wu Yan's expression changed when he sensed the presence coming from the black flame. He changed direction and with a quick dash, he dodged the flame. However, as Wu Yan changed direction, the black flames also changed direction and chased after Wu Yan. Wu Yan was surprised. Kikin Taidaku laughed coldly, and a mocking smile appeared on his face. It was too easy to add a tracking property to his dark matter. Smell, aura, airflow, all of these could be the target of his dark matter. Wu Yan looked at the sneering Kikin Taidaku and then he turned to look at the ground. Seeing that he can't see the ground anymore, Wu Yan grinned. The black flames caught up with Wu Yan at an unimaginable speed. Just as it was about to hit Wu Yan, it was entangled by a large amount of electricity. The blue and white electricity collided with the black flames. There was a muffled sound and then it dissipated into sparks. An acceleration. Wu Yan quickly approached Kikin Taidaku and suddenly stopped. He looked at Kikin Taidaku. His golden eyes were like still water. There was no emotion in them. It was as if he was looking at a person who was about to die. Kikin Taidaku frowned and looked at Wu Yan, who suddenly stopped. He laughed. What? You don't want to fight anymore? You think you can just let it go like this? Wu Yan smiled and looked at the vast sky. He said to Kikin Taidaku, "This place is not bad, right?" Huh? Kikin Taidaku was shocked. He shook his head and laughed. I didn't expect you to be in the mood to admire the environment. Are you trying to stall for time? Or have you already informed Misaka Mikoto and she is coming to save you? No, I said from the beginning that I am the only one here. There is no need to stall for time. Wu Yan shook his head and floated in the air. His golden eyes shone with an intriguing light as he looked at Kikin Taidaku. I just think that this environment is not bad. If I let you die here, die? Kikin Taidaku chuckled. His laughter got louder and louder. Soon, his laughter echoed in the dark sky. Are you saying that you want to kill me here? Ha ha ha. This is the funniest joke I have ever heard. Kikin Taidaku raised his hands. In the sky, countless black dots appeared around him. They were like black fireflies. They circled around Kikin Taidaku and flowed into his hands. The black dots gathered in Kikin Taidaku's palms. As the black dots flowed in, two black balls of light appeared in Kikin Taidaku's hands. Kikin Taidaku raised the two black balls of light and laughed. He looked at Wu Yan and said, I would like to see how you are going to kill me. You will find out soon enough. A transparent bow appeared in Wu Yan's hands. You're tuning into the Carefree Valley YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.